reported in a different manner. So this was one document. It's a public document available in public domain. All must go through. Second, as a student, first of all, you should by heart all the clauses which are to be reported in tax audit. You must know in which whatever vouching you are doing, that may have an implication of reporting in of a clause in TDS or a clause more than cash payment more than 10,000 or loans taken or loan given. GST reporting, I think, the entire gamut of tax audit, whenever the onerous duty was casted upon chartered accountant in 1985, the entire objective of the Government of India Tax Department was that we as a CA carry out a tax audit and give them a summary of the report of finding. Based on that, they can easily carry out the assessment. So, kahi baar aisa ho raha hai abhi, looking at this CNAG report, what department has been telling that look, CAs are CAs doing their job. So ultimately, whatever job we as a chartered accountant will do will depend upon the student who are actually carrying out the audit. So kahin bhi, wherever you feel that there are queries, you may have a doubt, you may feel queries are small, but please bring it to the table. Please give it to your partners in charge, the person who is handling the audit. Lot of time you may feel कि नहीं इसमें क्या दम है, इस query में कुछ भी नहीं है, but that might be an important reporting point. Whichever area you are working in a tax audit, or if you are doing a large tax audit and let's say part of the areas you are working on, please look at the documentation very, very carefully. Because whenever department is audit, they are finding gap, they are questioning or they are filing complaint in DC. And if we don't have any document to defend what work we have done, the simple presumption is that we have not carried out the audit required. So my request to all the students is that carry out the audit diligently. Keep all working papers properly, do the audit working papers, preservation properly, be it soft, be it hard, representation wherever you want from a client, make a list of that, make a note of that, submit to your partner saying that look here, the client has given me the oral explanation and we need to take a representation in writing. Those who have not gone through the tax audit guidance note must go through the latest version. Is about to be published on 15th of August. The exposure draft is already there in public domain. So please do go through the tax audit before you start any tax audit, which will be a sort of an ultimate document which will guide you for any area which you are handling in tax audit. So with this, once again, congratulations to Hrishikesh and entire WICASA team of Satara for having organized this wonderful session, and really grateful to you, Hrishikesh, for having me invited to talk here on 2 minutes, and keep it up. I am very, very glad to note that you have been, doing a wonderful program, and such many more programs are, must be there on your card. And I wish all the best to you for all the remaining programs. And wherever you need any support of WIRC WICASA, I am glad to anyway, extend that 24/7. Thank you so much and wish you a very happy learning to all the students for today as well as coming 2 days. Thank you. Over to you, Hrishikesh.
Yes, sir. Sir, really thank you and for giving your invaluable time and sparing your invaluable time. It is very fantastic. And you have aptly said all these things. And I am sure these students as well as members, those who are watching over here, will adopt it during their tax audit period. Approximately, there are 40 plus people who are the CA members who have joined this program. Thank you once again, Ketan sir. I am also grateful to Navi Mumbai branch, Pune branch, Nagpur branch, Anand, Navsari, Jodhpur, and Sangli branch for joining this wonderful program. Please, apologies if any branches has been missed out. They have supported me in and out, and it is because of them also we have been able to cross more than 1,500 plus registrations, and we are really grateful. Many people are watching on live services, so thank you very much. And now I will like to introduce our fantastic personality, Harit Dhariwal sir. Give me some few seconds. So I would like to welcome CA Mosmi Shah, WICASA chairperson of Pune branch. Ma'am, are you there?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening, ma'am. So now I request CA Moushmi Shah to please introduce our today's learned speaker, CA 𝐻𝐴 sir.
A very good evening to all. I take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, CA Harith Dariwal, MCOM FCA ISA ICAI, a qualified chartered accountant with more than 14 years of post-qualification experience in statutory and internal audit, taxation, treasury and risk management, company law advisory, and project finance. He was earlier associated with Sterlite Industries Limited as Assistant Manager, Treasury at Mumbai. He managed Indian and overseas treasury functions and handled investment portfolio of the group, approximately $7.5 billion, both onshore and offshore, involved in projects for raising and investment management of convertible bonds and American depository receipts. He made arrangements for fulfilling short-term and long-term fund requirement for the company by raising the funds through packaging credit, issuing MIBOR-linked fixed-rate non-convertible debentures and commercial papers. Presently, a partner at Ashok Dhariwal and Company Chartered Accountants, Ahmedabad, and is involved in statutory audits, internal audits, direct tax advisory, GST advisory, project finance and subsidy, RERA advisory. He holds degree with ranking positions as a chartered accountant and is a qualified information system auditor. He has completed Masters of Commerce course and certificate course of ICAI on International Financial Reporting Standards, Forensic Accounting and Fraud Detection and GST. He was elected as a managing committee member of the Ahmedabad branch of WIRC of ICAI for the year 16 to 19 and 19 to 22. He was elected as the chairman of Ahmedabad branch for the term 21-22, and under his chairmanship, Ahmedabad branch won the Best Branch of India First Prize Award for members and students at both national and regional levels. Ahmedabad branch is the second largest CA branch in the country with more than 14,000 CA members and 30,000 CA students. He's a regular speaker at various professional forums and has delivered lectures at various study circles and branches of ICAI. He's an avid learner and regularly attends CP seminars, study circles, discussions on diverse topics, and reads various professional journals to keep himself abreast of the latest developments. I welcome such a learned, a scholar, and expert faculty, and really take pleasure in inviting him as a speaker in this event. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Moushmi ma'am, for your kind and wonderful introduction. Before moving forward to the session, हरीश जी जहाँ पे भी जाते हैं वो जो भी प्रोग्राम करते हैं वो लेजेंडरी बन जाते हैं. लास्ट ईयर मैंने उनके साथ काम किया है एंड मैंने देखा है कि अहमदाबाद ब्रांच क्या है एंड उसके ज्यादा हाउ हरीश दरीवाल इज हैंडलिंग ऑल द एंड मैनेजिंग ऑल द प्रोग्राम्स. तो आई एम श्योर कि अभी आई विल बी ट्राई टू बी देयर इन हिज शूज. उनके फुटप्रिंट्स फॉलो करने का कोशिश कर रहा हूं मैं एंड उनके जैसे ही लेजेंडरी प्रोग्राम्स करने का कोशिश है. तो फॉर दिस पर्पज आई रिक्वायर द सपोर्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. आपको कुछ भी लगेगा, वी आर ऑलवेज जस्ट वन फोन कॉल अवे एंड इफ यू आर नॉट विथ ऑन फोन कॉल यू कैन जस्ट मैसेज अस एंड वी विल बी देयर टू यू. With this short introduction and introduction of our speaker Harith sir, now I would request him to please address our gathering, and for your perusal audience analysis poll is on your screen so that we can manage and plan our session accordingly. And Chitle sir will be joining later on. He is right now not yet landed.
Can I start, Hrishikesh ji?
Yes, sir. You can start now.
Okay. Very respected WICASA WIRC Chairman, Chairperson, CA 𝐾𝐻𝐿 Saiyajji, the WICASA Chairperson of Satara WICASA. I also thank you for the warm introduction, the Chairperson from Pune. And I'm very happy to see so many students joining in for today's evening session. A very, very good evening to all of you. And first of all, I would request most of you to please switch on your cameras. I think now we all are out of the virtual world. I think let us live as if we are, having a conversation face to face. So if you are hearing me, if you are there with me right now, I request you all to please switch on your cameras. I think let us have a very interactive session. I think if I can also see them, I can just see a few of them. If you can change the mode, Rishikesh, I don't know if you can, I don't know, but if you can see a few students also joining in. So yes, today's session very well planned. I think by Rishikesh. I think the best part about the session is that we are having 9 branches, and of course WIRC joining this program. And all the students, it's a good opportunity for you all that you are going to meet so many students from across the region now. Jodhpur is there, and there's Anand, Gujarat is there, Maharashtra is there. So I think a lot of good interaction and networking will happen. So my best wishes to all of you. And yes, I would thank you for switching on the cameras, and I hope we will be together for next 2 hours. So all the cameras will be on. We will keep it as a very interactive session. We will have question answers taken in between. If you want, you can take it at the end as is comfortable, right? So I think all are set to go with me right now. I can see a few nods coming in here. Yeah. So first of all, about the structure of the tax audit program, I think it has been very well designed. Today, we are going to cover the overview of the tax audit. What is the tax audit report about? The interplay between 44AB, 44AD, ADA. And tomorrow, the next session is going to be on the actual clauses of tax audit. So once you are through with the section 44AB, 44AD, then you can actually also read the tax audit report today. Tomorrow, when you attend the session, you will be, going through all the clauses of tax audit report, and then there'll be important judgments. So all in three combined, you will get a very good exposure combined. And I'm sure, apart from the theoretical knowledge, a lot of practical inputs will be shared by the speakers, including myself. So here we go. So I think first we will start with a small story. I think today we all are in the evening. We are working. Most of you would be working here. I see around 81% in the poll are students. So office se free okay, abhi just they'll be attending my session. So let us refresh you with a small story. And this story I think I often use because I feel it's very much connected to us. There was as the story goes, there was a person who wanted to learn gun shooting, and he approached an expert, and he went to the expert and told I wanted to learn gun shooting. Can you help me? The expert gets a license and a revolver and tells him that okay, we can start the practice after 1 week. I'm going out of station. After 1 week, I'll come and we will practice. But where do you want to practice? So the person is very excited. He says that, sir, मेरे घर पे आना. मेरे घर पे पीछे एक बहुत बड़ा backyard है, and on the backyard you can come and we can practice there. So the expert says, okay, I will come after a week's time. So exactly after a week, he went to his place, and the person took him to the backyard. वहां जाके देखा एक बहुत बड़ी wall है, and the expert went near and he saw that there were marks and there was circle drawn on the wall. So he was a little perplexed. He asked him, what is this? So he said, sir, these are bullet marks. So the expert said, okay, but how come all the bullet marks are on the bullseye? You all know bullseye, right? The middle portion of the circle, the radius. So he says all the marks are bullet marks. So who shot this? So the person who is yet to learn, he said, sir, I only shot this shots. So the expert was a little shocked. He said, okay, so did you go near and shoot, or how did you shoot it? Like, kaise mara hai? So bola ki no, sir. With the same distance with which you shoot in the Olympics, in the games, वो same distance से मैंने shoot किया. Now the expert was flabbergasted. He was like, yeah, what is this? Like, we have been training for 20-25 years and still we cannot hit with so precision. How can all your shots be on bullseye? Now it is up to you to teach me how to hit bullseye. So the person very, very emphatically says, sir, you people draw the circle and shoot. I shoot and then draw the circle. So friends, now in this current times with which we all are living in, especially the students, I think I see a few members also here. So we all know that the circle is already drawn. Even for us as professionals, as you as students, you should know that the circle, when I talk about the circle, I am telling about that the government is now closing all the loopholes. So the circles are drawn and we have to now make sure that we hit the bullseye within those circles. Right. So tax audit report being a very, very important part of the compliance, I think we have to make sure that within the 4 walls of the law, we make the best possible report for our clients. So I will just share my screen now. And I'm very happy that 𝐾𝐻𝐻 received, put forward a few points. I think they're still there. Sir, you mentioned about the guidance note. I have a few extracts that I wanted to share with the students. Sir also mentioned about the 𝐶&AG report. Now, it's a very, very important point that he mentioned. And just a coincidence that I also have a few slides on that. So I will also take you through that what the sir was actually referring to. And sir also mentioned about documentation. That also we were going to cover, in a very, very extensive manner. So now I'll just share my screen. Just a minute. Yeah, is the screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
I'll just do the full screen. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
Okay. Yeah, so starting first of all, I think again, while we are dealing with tax audit, I think we should also know that a lot of things are going around. We are right now as an articles, as in students, you not only have to deal with tax audit, you have to also deal with revised Schedule 3 requirements. There is CARO 2020 now. There are changes in audit report. There are GST evidence, something new is coming in. You have the e-invoicing, e-way bill. You have the company law changes regularly. So all these things I'm telling you is, this year to do it day in and day out. Standard internal audit, peer review, taxation review. They have latest TDS provisions. I think a lot of you would be facing the heat now with the 194R and the other sections getting implemented. I think I could see a lot of people smiling now. I'm sure this is going to be a hot topic in all the offices. So this is all that you have to deal with, and the list goes on and on. And with this list, I think you all have to make sure that we also now comply with the tax audit report. Now, today, what we are going to cover? We are going to cover first of all the section 44AB, 44AD, and ADA. So when I'm saying the sections, I really mean that we are going to take you through the sections, because what I understand is students should know the real law rather than just going through the notes and all. We will take you through the sections wherein you will be taught the real law. Then after that, we have the overview of the section, overview of the tax audit, obviously tax audit report. Then we have the documentation, as sir rightly mentioned about the tax audit report. Then something on the common mistakes. So what happens? I'm going to tell you a few common mistakes that were made in my offices, in general in offices, a lot of people that commonly make those mistakes, so that you don't make those mistakes then. And of course, after that, we have some concluding notes. So this is how we have structured the entire presentation for 2 hours. So starting with, yes, now this is something which you should know as a very basic thing, that when we talk about audit reports, we have company audit report that we all know. Then we have, which is CARO, non-CARO, and other acts. The most important that we're going to discuss today is the tax audit. Now, Form 3CA and 3CB. What are these forms? That also I'm going to tell you. These are basically the tax audit report forms. So they also draw their, significance from the section itself. So I'm going to take you through that also. So just an overview of what we're going to discuss today. So what is tax audit? Now, my first question is, I think you all can put your replies in the chat box. What is tax audit as per you? Like these are the different sections. Now, what as per you is the tax audit? Thank you, Jagruti, for being excited to learning more. But now I would request all of you to give your answers now. Which section do you think is basically perhaps 44AB is mentioned by Bhakti Joshi, 44AB. So everyone saying 44AB. Okay, so no other option, no other thought. But I would like to correct all of you here. Now you can stop now. Yes, yes. I hope the similar response is given for all the questions. Yes, so actually, to be very, very, very upfront, this tax audit means any audit under the Income Tax Act. So all audits undertaken under these respective sections are all tax audits. But today we are going to discuss on section 44AB. But you should be very clear that all these sections audit. So if you're auditing under 80 𝐴𝐴, if you're issuing a form, they are also part of tax audit. So, but today we are focusing on section 44AB, which is largely applicable to all of us when we talk about the tax audits. So now, before we go to the 𝐶&AG report extracts, this is something that we all should know, that there was a saying that whatever happens in accounting stays in accounting, and similarly for the income tax. Again, I told you circle is drawn. That is all the thing of the past now. We have to be very specific. This is a report that 𝐾𝐻𝐻 was referring to. You can see it was a report of 2014. It was published in 2015. A 𝐶&AG. So we all know 𝐶&AG that did an audit of the tax audit report issued by the CAs. तो आपने जो tax audit report issue किया है, उसकी quality का audit किया था 𝐶&AG ने, and they had put on a few observations. and you'll be very surprised to see the observations. I'm just sharing a few of them with you. I'm just reading this. They found cases where CAs had failed to report full and correct information in 367 cases, leading to short levy of taxes of 2,800 crores. Then some important findings, depreciation was wrongly calculated. Then second was brought forward loss was wrongly calculated and wrongly put forward. Then 42 cases, personal capital expenditure were incorrectly allowed. So these are all the findings, that CA had wrongly certified various exemptions in 74 cases, giving tax effect of 259 crores. So these are all the findings. So you can see that whatever we are doing in tax audit report, we have to be very, very careful now. And you can see the last one also, CA gave incorrect, incomplete information in tax audit report in 132 cases, having a revenue impact of 1,000 crores. So these are just the findings of the report. And in that report, you'll be surprised to see that they have also mentioned the name of the chartered accountant, the name of the firm, and also what issues they had with that report. For example, you can see this illustration. I've hidden the names and all, but here the SSC had claimed additional depreciation of 11 crores on plant and machinery based on the tax audit report, which was disallowed by the assessing officer as the activity of construction could not be treated as manufacturing activity. Now, very basic things for students who are in inter right now. We can claim additional depreciation only on machineries, right? We cannot claim it if it's not a construction activity, if it is not a manufacturing activity. Here, what had happened? There was a construction activity, and even on that, additional depreciation was claimed. So that was absolutely wrong. So that was pointed out. Now, this is something about the TDS. Auditor ने TDS अच्छे से verify नहीं किया, उन्होंने simple लिख दिया that we recommend ad hoc disallowance of 5 lakhs because we are not able to see what are the disallowances. So all these statements also cannot be made now. So you can see I'll share the entire presentation with you, but these are all the findings of the CNAG report. Now, even there's one more step ahead. Institute has also set up a tax audit quality review board. Now, what does this board do? This board basically reviews all the tax audit reports. A CA will review the TAR issued by another CA. So again, your tax audit reports will be subject to review. So it's very important that we make the most of it. Now, this was the guidance note. As again, sir was mentioning, it is under revision. This is the this is the current guidance note on tax audit. Then there was an implementation guide in 2018. And as recent as June 22, Institute also issued this, a study on the compliances in tax audit report. So these are the 3 very useful materials for all the students. I think if you can really go through it, you will get a lot of clarity, especially the June report that I'm referring right now on the screen. We have also gone through this report. We have put in a few extracts of that. It contains common mistakes also on tax audit report. So you can get to know a lot about it. So now coming to legislative history, I think tax audit was, basically tax audit was introduced even before maybe I was born. Obviously, you were born after me, but even before I was born in 1984, it was introduced. So, in that time, there was a expert panel under the chairmanship of Justice Vanchu, and they basically asked them to do something like a tax audit to have a control. And this is the finance minister's first speech for tax audit. We had mentioned that explains the rationale as intended to ensure that the books of accounts and other records are properly maintained and faithfully reflect the true income of the taxpayer. That was the basic objective of introducing the tax audit report. This was the memorandum. Now, again, why I introduced this? Because for students, it is very important to know that while we read the budget speech, while we read the finance bill, which becomes the Finance Act, we should also read the memorandum to the finance bill. It is a very, very important document. It basically gives you a rationale of why a particular provision was introduced. So the rationale of behind introducing tax audit report, they had mentioned in the Finance Bill 94, the memorandum 84, they had mentioned that the compulsory audit is intended to ensure proper maintenance of books of accounts in order to reflect true income of the taxpayer and to facilitate the administration of tax laws by a proper presentation of accounts before the tax authorities. So basically, they also wanted to save time of the assessing officers in carrying out verifications. So they gave this onerous duty onto the chartered accountants. So, as I said, it was first introduced in 85, like 84, 85 was the first year, and gradually there were a lot of changes being made. So, we'll discuss that also. This is the history. Now, you can see 84, the tax audit provisions were introduced. In 1997, 44AD was introduced for the first time. 99, forms were revised. Then 2003, again applicable to 44BB and there's iron shipping companies and all. 2004, again the tax audit report was revised. 2006 was revision. 2008. So earlier we used to submit hard copies, but in 2008 we were done away with. So when I passed out my CA, that time we were not supposed to upload the tax audit reports that we do right now. That time there was only requirement of furnishing ITR. Tax audit report was not required to be furnished. Then in 2011, there were a lot of cases of fake membership numbers. So then they thought that, let us do e-filing of tax audit reports. So in 2013, they came up with the e-filing of tax audit reports, wherein they what we do right now, mandatory e-filing of TAR. In 2014, there was major amendments. There were 41 clauses, then there were 18 clauses modified and 7 new added. In 2018, again, there were a few modifications. And most importantly, there were 2 clauses that is related to GAR and to GST, which were deferred. In 2021, it was deferred till 22, but now in the current year, we are going to report on that also. So this is basically a history of tax audit report. Now these are the schemas. Okay, we can skip this. Okay, now a very, very basic question. You can see when the tax audit started in 85, the limit was 40 lakhs. For profession, it was 10 lakhs. It got gradually increased. I think at a faster pace than your stipend, but it got increased. But you can see in now in 2020-21, what I want the answers from you now. What was the limit in assessment year 22-23, 21-22, and 2021? 1 crore. Okay. Everyone saying 1 crore. Akshay is saying 1.5 crores. So first we talk about assessment year 2021. That is the last year that we are doing it. More than 1 crore. So there is nothing like more than 1 crore, less than 1 crore. So here the answer is it was 5 crores. I think if you can, yes, Yannick very rightly mentioned 5 crores in the assessment year 2021, which we did last year. 5 crores, and after that it was 10 crores. Currently it is 10 crores. So you should know that if you talk about the current year that we're going to do audit for the financial year 21-22, assessment year 22-23, the limit is 10 crores. But yes, if you don't satisfy certain conditions, the limit comes back to 1 crore. That we are going to discuss. I'm going to share this. Yes, a number of, so again, just a few overview again, that if you do head office and branches, it will be considered as 1 tax audit assignment. Then the limit that we have is each partner can do 60 tax audit assignments. So if there is a firm of 10 CAs, can one partner sign 600 and remaining 9 don't sign anything? The answer is yes, it can be done. Institute has clarified in FAQ that in that case, 9 partners will not sign any other tax audit report. So yes, now coming to a very, very basic thing. So what I covered is I have taken each section now first. So we first talk about section 44AB. And I think there are a few inter students also. So I'll go at a little slow pace now because they'll also have to understand these sections. So 44AB is the basic charging section. And they talk about 2 things. Number 1, the business income, it exceeds 1 crore or 10 crores. That we will discuss in what cases it's 10 crores. Then it is compulsory tax audit. In profession, if it exceeds 50 lakhs. Now the clause C deals with 44AE, that is business of applying and lorrying. 44BB and BBB, that is for the shipping companies in iron ore. In that case, if your income is less than the deemed profit, again you do tax audit. Then the clause number D talks about 44ADA, that is for profession. If your deemed profit is less than 50%, then also you have to go for tax audit. And last E clause is 44AD subsection 4 that we are going to discuss. And what is the form that mentioned in the rules? So when we also study the act, we should also know the rules, and the rules 6G prescribe the form, the report of 3C of 44AB. And there is a form 3CA and 3CB. So what is 3CA? 3CA is a format of the audit report in case of a person who is required to get his accounts audited under any law. So for example, you are audited under Companies Act, you are audited under LLP Act, you are audited under RERA Act. In any other law, if you are audited, then your report will be in the form 3CA. If you are not audited in any other case, for example, there's an individual or there's a partnership firm which is not subject to audit in any other law, in that case, they are subject to 3CB. And along with either 3CA or 3CB, they have to issue 3CD. Now, what is 3CD? 3CD is basically a statement of particulars which were required. So what we talk about the tax audit report, it is the statement of particulars. There are 44 clauses in the tax audit report, and those 44 clauses in 3CD are to be given either along with 3CA or 3CB. This is basically a structure of what we're going to discuss right now. And yes, the penalty is 0.5%. If you don't file the tax audit report, if you don't do the tax audit report, the penalty is 0.5% and maximum up to 1.5 lakhs. So now coming to a very, very important section, that is 44AB. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the section so that you can understand each and every word of it. First, 44AB subclause A talks about business. So if you're carrying on a business, if your total sales, turnover or gross receipts, you can again repeat it, sales, turnover or gross receipts, as the case may be in business, exceeds 1 crore rupees in any previous year. So the limit is 1 crore only as per 44AB. But they have introduced proviso in this, provided that in case of a person whose, now there are two conditions here, aggregate of all amounts received, including amount received for sales in cash, does not exceed 5% of the said amount, and aggregate of all payments made, including amount incurred for expenditure in cash, does not exceed 5% of the said amount. मैं आपको एकदम सिंपल समझाता हूँ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेरा 1 करोड़ का ही लिमिट है टैक्स ऑडिट का, बट सपोज देयर इज अ पर्सन हु इज हैविंग, लेट्स से, आउट ऑफ टोटल रिसीट्स, ही हैज टोटल रिसीट्स ऑफ लेट्स से 1 करोड़, और उसमें से कैश रिसीट्स खाली 2 लाख का ही है. So that cash receipt is less than 5% of 1 crore. That answer 1 is satisfied. Clause A is satisfied. What is clause B? It talks about the total payments made. So for example, uska payment for expenses, for salary, all those payments combined, let's say it is 50 lakhs. और 50 lakhs का 5% होता है 2.5 lakhs. So if that total in cash, अगर cash अगर मेरा 2.5 लाख से कम है, in that case I also satisfy condition number B. If I satisfy both the conditions, then the 1 crore will be substituted by 10 crores. So normally what we do is, when we see that any client is gets to tax audit applicable है कि नहीं, I have to see whether number one, his turnover exceeds 1 crore. Yes. Then we have to see whether the total cash receipts उसका 5% देखना है कैश में है कि नहीं, total cash, total payments उसका 5% देखना है कैश में है कि नहीं. If everything is satisfied, then for him the limit will be 10 crores. I hope this is clear. Clause number A is clear to all of you. In this, I just given a simple example on the receipt side. A similar example also for the payment side. But suppose मेरा अगर payments by all banking channel है, मेरा receipts जो है वो मेरे अपने बात की पेमेंट रिसीट दोनों है, मेरे पेमेंट सारे बैंकिंग में है, तो वो कैश का पॉइंट आता ही नहीं है. अब मेरे रिसिप्ट्स में से 6 करोड़ रिसीट ऐसा है, उसमें से 20 लाख कैश में है, प्रोप्राइटर ने 25 लाख कैश में इंट्रोड्यूस किया कैपिटल, लोन रिसीव्ड 50 lakhs by NEFT, so whether tax audit will be applicable? Now I want answers from you. I'll repeat again. We have to check two conditions. पहला, 1 करोड़ से ऊपर है कि नहीं? Yes, ऊपर है. Now what we have to see is that receipts, out of receipts कितनी है? 6 करोड़ में से 20 lakhs कैश में है, फिर प्रोप्राइटर ने 25 lakhs कैश में इंट्रोड्यूस किया एज अ कैपिटल, लोन रिसीव्ड 50 lakhs by NEFT. Now considering this, do you think tax audit will be applicable, like 10 crores will be there or 1 crore limit will be there? So Shantanu says yes, tax audit will be applicable. Parul says yes. Between 1 to 2, no. Raju says yes. Shivani says yes. Okay, so not applicable. Okay, there are people who are saying not applicable also. No. In this case, file 44AD. No, we cannot go to 44AD because 44AD is only up to 2 crores. So 44AD का option नहीं है. Okay, majority of saying audit is compulsory. Okay, तो हमने ये देखा अभी कि दो conditions है. पहला 5% cash in payments, that is satisfied, तो वो बराबर है. Second condition क्या है? Second condition we have to see whether it is getting fulfilled or not. See, what is the total receipts? Total receipt is 6 crores plus 25 plus 50, 6 crores 75 lakhs, and the cash receipts is how much? It is 20 plus 25, 45 lakhs. So it is exceeding 5% or not? It is exceeding 5%. In that case, yes, the tax will be done because the limit is only 1 crore in this case. Yes, Alokji very rightly mentioned. I hope this is clear now, that here not only sales we have to consider, we have to consider all the receipts, we have to consider everything, like not only the sales thing, we have to consider all the receipts. Yes, Prashantji mentioned it is more than 5%, 6.6%. Hence, we are violating that condition. इसलिए वो 1 करोड़ की लिमिट, आपको 10 करोड़ का बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा, आपको 1 करोड़ की लिमिट होगी, and you are subject to tax audit. The same example can be done on the payment side. The objective of introducing this question to you was that here not only sales you have to consider, you have to also consider the capital introduction, loans received from banks, all kind of receipts and all kind of payments. Like even for payments, you have to consider the plant and machinery purchase, any capex, whatever we have to consider in that also. Now coming to point number B. Okay, now this green one they have mentioned in last year in Finance Act 2021. They have mentioned here that provided further that if the payment or receipt is by any manner other than account pay check. Account pay क्या होता है आपके पास जो okay, Sagar is telling about the slide condition. Okay, this is Sagar, this is the slide that I was referring to. So Yagnik mentioned that if past years debtors pay in current year, then it's also cash receipt. Yes, it is a receipt. So we have to, if they pay it in cash, we have to consider it as a cash receipt. Okay, I hope this slide is clear now. I'll quickly go further now. So coming to the next point, that I was talking about this proviso, which was introduced last year. इसका सिंपल कहना ये है कि अगर आपने कोई पेमेंट या कोई रिसिप्ट किया है अदर देन अकाउंट पे चेक, in that case also your benefit of 10 crore will not be available. Your limit will again be 1 crore. For example, you have made payments to your creditors and they are not on account pay. They are simple payments through bearer checks or through other modes. In that case, again, the limit is 1 crore. Now coming to clause B. Clause B talks about profession. हमने पहला A किया for business. Now if you are carrying a profession and if your receipts are more than 50 lakh rupees, in that case tax audit will be there. 50 lakhs का limit profession के लिए है. Clause number C talks about three sections. 44AE, which is plying, hiring and leasing of goods carriage. 44BB, it talks about non-resident business of exploration of mineral oils. And 44BBB, it talks about foreign company business of civil construction. So in this case, if you are showing your profit less than the minimum deemed profit that is there in those sections. For example, in 44AE, you have to show minimum basis your heavy vehicle or light vehicle. Basis of weight, you have to show the minimum price. In minimum income, in 44BB and BBB, there is 10% of your income you have to show as a deemed profit. So if you show anything less than that, then there is compulsory tax audit under clause C of 44AB. Now coming to point number D. Point number D क्या बोलता है? Section 44 ADA की बात करता है. ADA is if ADA basically we're going to study that also. If you're having any professional income of less than 50 lakh rupees, then you have to show minimum 50% as an income. जैसे मेरा for example 45 lakhs का professional receipts है. I have to show minimum 22.5 lakhs as my income. If I show less than 22.5 lakhs, then I am subject to audit under clause D of 44AB. So here it mentioned that if you're carrying a profession, if the profits and gains from the profession are deemed to be profit and gains of a person under 44 ADA, and he has claimed such income to be lower than the profits. So deemed profits से low अगर हमने claim किया है और मेरी income जो है वो maximum amount से exceed होती है, in that case again I'll be subject to tax audit. And the most important is clause E. It talks about if you're carrying a business and if the provisions of subsection 4 of 44 AD are applicable. Now, for students, it is very important to understand that we have to read section 44 AD subsection 4 and then come back here के इसका क्या relevance है. अगर आपको subsection 4 of 44 AD apply होता है और आपकी income अगर maximum amount से ज़्यादा होती है, in that case only tax audit is applicable. This clause E we will discuss when we go to section 44 AD. तब हम इसको cross reference करेंगे. So there are 5 clauses under which tax audit is to be done. As I told you, first clause is business, 1 crore versus 10 crores. Second clause is profession, 50 lakhs. Third clause is your deemed income, 44 AE, AB, PBB and BBB. Clause D is 44 ADA, profession में 50 लाख से कम दिखाया तो. And clause E talks about subsection 4 of 44 AD. So if you fall under any of these provisions, in that case, tax audit is compulsory to be done. Now, this was 44 AB. Now coming to 44 AD. Now, as I said, 44 AD, it's a section which was introduced in 1994 in the initial thing, then modified in 97. But this extract that you're seeing on the screen right now is the extract of the memorandum of 1994 finance bill. So I think as I told you that finance bill के साथ memorandum भी पढ़ना पड़ता है. So the finance bill में जो memorandum था, उसमें ये mention किया था that this scheme is optional. If you can see the one which is written in green, this scheme is optional. तो पहला क्वेश्चन सबको ये आता है कि अगर मेरा 44 AD है, AB है, मुझे कंपलसरी 44 AD में जाना पड़ेगा या कंपलसरी है कि नहीं है. तो वो मेमोरेंडम में लिखा था that this scheme is optional. If you want to avail this scheme, you can take it. If you don't want to, it is your choice. So it is very, very important slide that I am showing you right now. Now coming to 44 AD. अब 44 AD सबको पता है deemed income है, deemed 6%, 8%, everybody knows, but I'll just tell you now that again we have to read the section, notwithstanding anything contained to the contrary in section 28 to 43C. So 44 AD basically इन सबको bypass करता है. 28 and 43C में जो भी लिखा है. In case of an eligible SSE, now who is an eligible SSE? We are going to discuss. Engaged in an eligible business. Now what is an eligible business? That also we are going to discuss. A sum equal to 8% of the turnover of the SSC of the previous year or higher of the apportioned sum claimed to have been earned by the SSC shall be deemed to be the profits of the business and profession. मतलब मेरा अगर suppose for example if my turnover is 1.2 crores then उसका 8% जो भी amount होता है उतना मुझे 8% मुझे दिखाना है. If I show that 8% amount, then I am not required to maintain any books of accounts and not required to do any audit. And इसमें एक प्रोवाइजो उन्होंने इंट्रोड्यूस किया था कि सपोज आपका पूरा टर्नओवर अगर इट इज ओनली थ्रू बैंकिंग चैनल, इन दैट केस 8% विल बी सब्स्टिट्यूटेड बाय 6%. तो 6% अगर आप प्रॉफिट दिखाते हो आपका टर्नओवर का, तो आपको उसमें बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स मेंटेन करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऑडिट भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. नाउ देयर आर क्लॉज सबसेक्शन 2 टॉक्स अबाउट दैट इफ यू क्लेम्ड डीम्ड इनकम, अगर आपने 1 करोड़ का आपका टर्नओवर है और आपने उसको 6% प्रॉफिट 6 लाख प्रॉफिट दिखा दिया, इन दैट केस नो डिडक्शन विल बी अलाउेबल. वो जो 6 लाख है दैट इज फाइनल, उसमें भी 30-38 के अंदर में जो भी डिडक्शन थे वो आपको अलाउेबल नहीं मिलेंगे. देन आपको डेप्रिसिएशन भी नहीं मिलेगा ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज यू आर गोइंग फॉर डीमिंग, सो नो डेप्रिसिएशन. डब्ल्यूडीवी विल बी डीम्ड टू बी कैलकुलेटेड. नाउ कमिंग टू सब क्लॉज 4 सब, so 44AD subsection 4 talks about a very important thing. I'll just read it and then we will discuss it practically. Where an eligible SSC declares profit for any previous year in accordance with the provisions of this section, and he declares profit of any of the 5 assessment years relevant to the previous year succeeding the previous year, not in accordance with provision of subsection 1, he shall not be eligible to claim the benefit of this section for 5 years. अब इसका हमने बहुत लंबा चौड़ा हमने देखा. इट्स अ वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग थिंग. आई टेल यू इन अ वेरी सिंपल मैनर. फॉर एग्जांपल इन ईयर 1 you choose to show 6% as an income, you choose 44AD. In year 2 you choose 44AD and again show 6% of your income, and assuming your turnover is less than 2 crores and you every year showed 6% only. In year 3 you think that अब मुझे इससे कम दिखाना है, मुझे 6% नहीं दिखाना है, my turnover is almost similar but I want to show less profit. In case you are showing profit less than one that you have shown earlier, 6% से कम दिखाया है, then you are out of that section for that year, and for the next 5 years you cannot take benefit of 44AD और आपको compulsory tax audit करवाना पड़ेगा. So when we talk about the tax audit clause E, 44E जो हमने refer किया था, that is referring to this subsection 4. That suppose year 1 44AD, year 2 44AD, year 3 you are not complying with 44AD subsection 1, you are showing less profit, then for that year and the next 5 years you are out of 44AD, you cannot take 44AD benefit and you have to go compulsory to 44AB subclause 6 for the audit. This is what 4 talks about. And subsection 5 यही बोलता है कि अगर आप subsection 4 में fall होते हो और आपका अगर मैक्सिमम अमाउंट चार्जेबल से ज्यादा इनकम होती है, तो आपको बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स भी मेंटेन करने हैं और आपको ऑडिट भी करवानी है. तो 44AD के सेक्शंस हमने देखे. नाउ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, किसको अप्लाई नहीं होते हैं. सो देयर आर 3 persons to whom 44AD is not applicable. This is very important. First, a person who is carrying on a profession. तो अगर सपोज कोई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है, कोई लॉयर है, कोई इंटीरियर डिजाइनर है, तो फिर सबसेक्शन 1 ऑफ 44A में फॉल होता है, वो 44AD का बेनिफिट नहीं ले सकता क्योंकि उसके लिए 44AD और ADA ऑलरेडी है. Second, if a person who is earning income in nature of commission of brokerage, किसी का कमीशन या ब्रोकरेज की एजेंसी है, he cannot go for 44AD. And third, as I said, is a agency business. So if you falling under any of these 3, you are not liable to go for 44AD. Now, what is an eligible SSC? Who can claim 44AD? Individual, HUF, partnership firm, but not LLP. तो कंपनी भी नहीं, खाली 3 जने, इंडिविजुअल, HUF and a partnership firm, only they can claim 44AD. Normally what happens, articles आ जाते हैं यार कंपनी 2 करोड़ की प्रॉफिट है, let's go to 44AD, but they are not allowed to do. Only individuals, HUF and partnership firms are there. And what is an eligible business? Obviously eligible business is anything other than 44AE, because 44AE already दूसरा presumptive section है, and whose total turnover does not exceed 2 crore rupees. तो 2 करोड़ से कम turnover है और 44AE में आप fall नहीं होते हो, then you can go to 44AD. Now there are a few posers. I think 44AD clear हुआ कि नहीं, we will just check now. First is now whether salary and interest income from a partner of a partnership firm can be treated as a business income and 44AD में जा सकते हैं. Vishal says yes. Muskan no. Okay. All are saying no. Yes. Okay. सो यू गॉट द क्वेश्चन. मैं पार्टनरशिप में पार्टनर हूँ, मुझे इंटरेस्ट और सैलरी रेम्यूनरेशन मिलता है, तो कैन आई शो इट एज माय बिजनेस इनकम एंड गो टू 44AD? Okay, it's a mixed answer. I think even the courses are divided. So normally what they say is that उसमें remuneration में हम उसका 44AD का benefit नहीं ले सकते हैं, ठीक है? That courts have mentioned, that is one of the judgments of the CIT versus, you can say Anand Kumar with CIT. Madras High Court has said that if you are you cannot take the benefit of interest income and remuneration as a partner, you cannot go to 44AD and take the benefit. No, it is your business income. 44AD में नहीं जा सकते. Now second. Okay, this answer is also there now. Can disallowances be made as per section 43B overriding the section of 44AD? 44AD में मैंने एक 6% दिखा दिया है. अब 43B सबको पता है. 43B ये होता है कि if payments expenses which are allowed only on payment basis. So if you don't pay certain expenses, it is not allowed. So can those expenses be disallowed when you talk about 44AD? The answer is yes. And you know why? Because you can see the section here. Section 44AD, it talks about that not representing anything contained to the contrary to 48 to 43C. It means that 44AD is restricted to this section. When we talk about 44B, 43B talks about a larger thing. 43B क्या बोलता है कि not representing anything contained in any other provision of this act. So 43B is a bigger, it has an overriding effect even on 44AD. So there are judgments which we say that 43B के disallowance मिल सकते हैं, but yes, there are contrary judgments also which say कि नहीं मिल सकते. So there are both the sides of it. Now, this is a question on the books of accounts. Like Mr. Neeraj Chopra is an interior decorator. So interior decorator है, his gross receipts are 84 lakhs. He wants to declare income as per 44AD. In this case, will he be liable to maintain books of accounts in respect of the aforesaid profession? Mr. Neeraj Chopra, the answer is no. Okay. Most of you saying, one is saying yes. He will be liable? No, he will not be liable to maintain. So 44AD हमने देखा था, अगर 6% 8% दिखाता है, not liable to maintain books of accounts, no tax audit. But yes, Vipul very rightly mentioned that he will not be able to take the benefit of 44AD only because it's a profession. Interior decorator is a profession, hence he cannot take the benefit of 44AD. So this is what is required here. This is what is mentioned. That is engaged in the profession. So 44AD apply नहीं होगा उसको. Now next question again. You talk about Sindhu Corporation, a partnership firm running a color dyeing press. The turnover is 84 lakhs and he declared income as per 44AD. तो 8% जो उसने दिखा दिया टर्नओवर का, उसके बाद उसको सारे एक्सपेंडिचर क्लेम करने हैं. उसको सैलरी भी अकाउंटेंट की वो भी क्लेम करनी है, इंश्योरेंस क्लेम करना है, डेप्रिसिएशन क्लेम करना है, रेम्यूनरेशन क्लेम करना है. Now, can he claim all these expenses from the deemed income? Yes, Dipendra ji saying not allowed. No. Okay, cannot claim. Yes, very rightly. So I hope you understand this, that if you are going by deemed provisions, we are not allowed any other deduction then. This is mentioned here. Okay, this is again for the 43B. As I said, कि 43B के disallowances हो सकते हैं. इसका एग्जांपल मैंने दिया है. You can just go through it later on. This we have already discussed. Okay, now Mr. Saurav declaring income under 44AD has made payment of interest to non-resident. उसने 6% 8% दिखाया है, but साथ में उसको एक non-resident को payment भी था under 195, and no TDS has been deducted. Whether expense will be disallowed under 40A? So if I have a deemed income, so the answer is no by most. I think Prashant is saying yes. Not eligible SSC, no, yes, okay. Not allowed, yes. So I think the answer is not allowed. Again, very well said, because as we read 44AD, मैंने section क्यों पढ़ा है आपको, कि उसमें लिखा है कि notwithstanding anything contained in section 28 to 43C, तो 40 भी उसके बीच में आ जाता है. अगर वो sections के बीच का कोई भी इनको applicable नहीं होगा. So even if TDS is not deducted on non-resident payment, they say will not be disallowed. कोई disallowance नहीं होगा. But yes, at the same time, section 195 में आपको जो non deduction of TDS के जो provisions है, interest है, liability है, जो आपको SSC in default हो जाओगे, that will still remain, but it will not be disallowed. I hope that is clear. Now next is this one. Okay, Sachin Tendulkar has opted for presumptive taxation under 44AD. He has earned an income of 70 lakhs from his retail business and has also earned income 43,43,000 by way of commission. Now he wants to opt for section 43AD with respect to income and 43AB for audit. क्या वो कर सकता है ये? अच्छा, आंसर इसमें लिखा हुआ है no. Obviously he cannot, because the simple answer again is that the person, if he's having a commission income or agency income, that person himself is out of presumptive taxation. तो भले उसका commission income है, उसका वो commission income है, इसके लिए वो 44AD का benefit वो retail business में भी नहीं ले सकता. Because as we read the section, again I've told you that we have to very well read the section. I'll show you that point again. You can see here an eligible you can see, yes, the किसको apply नहीं होता है. You can see here point number 1 and 2 and 3 that the person, the person carrying on business, person carrying on commission, brokerage, agency business, उसको ही ये section apply नहीं होता है. So I think you all are right in this thing. So I think 44AD is more or less clear. Now coming to 44ADA. Okay, there's another one more thing. Yeah. Okay, one more question. So X has opted for 44AD and he has earned for the following income. Business 1, 1 crore turnover, 20% profit. Business 2, 80 lakhs turnover, 2 lakh profit. So average इसका आता है 1 crore 80 lakhs के दो business का profit average is 12%. Now the question is, he wants to declare income of 20% of business under 44AD और दूसरे वाले के लिए वो ऑप्ट कर रहा है कि भाई मैं कम में दिखाऊं. एक में कह रहा है मैं 44AD में जाता हूं तो मुझे बुक्स का कुछ मेंटेन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सेकंड में बोलता है कि आई एम शोइंग लेस देन 6%, आई एम गोइंग फॉर ऑडिट. कैन ही हैव दिस टू डिफरेंट स्टैंड्स एंड आर दे वैलिड? So one is saying yes, no, okay, no. I think बहुत लोगों के क्वेश्चन शायद ऊपर चले गए हैं. You can once we go through these questions, you can also put it back again. Not valid. Okay, not valid. No, since total is to be considered. Yes, Sagar has put it bang on. Total, we have to consider both the business together. We cannot go business 1 अलग से, business 2 अलग से. We have to see both the businesses. We have to see, and we have to then calculate the. If you want to go to AD, then I have to see कि 12%, obviously 8% ज़्यादा है. I can go to 44AD to consider both the businesses together. Now coming to 44ADA. So we have a lot of other questions posed also behind, but we can first go to 44ADA. So as I said, 44AB is tax audit provision, 44AD is presumptive taxation, and 44ADA is again presumptive taxation for the professionals. So once again, I will read the section as I told you, that notwithstanding anything contained in 28 to 43C, in case of an SSE being an individual or a partnership firm other than LLP. Now why is this important here is that इसके पहले amendment आया, उसके पहले क्या था, यहाँ पे लिखा था in case of an SSE being an resident, खाली इतना लिखा था. तो उस टाइम पे they was open to anyone. Now they have clarified that profession कौन-कौन कर सकता है जिसके अंदर 44AD के अंदर बेनिफिट ले सकता है, या तो वो इंडिविजुअल हो या वो पार्टनरशिप फर्म हो. तो फर्म ऑफ LLP cannot take benefit of 44AD. In that case उसका ग्रॉस रिसीट्स अगर 50 लाख से कम है, then he had to show minimum 50% of his receipts as an income. अगर वो 50% से कम दिखाता है, in that case he will have to get it books of accounts audited. And again the same provision as per 44AD कि उसमें कोई डिडक्शन नहीं मिलेगा, कोई डिसअलाउंस आपको डिडक्शन और इसके अलावा नहीं मिलने वाला है. आपका WDV भी डीम्ड कंसीडर होगा, डेप्रिसिएशन भी आपको नहीं मिलेगा. All these things are the same. And the clause on point number 4 subsection says that if you are showing profit less than 50 lakh rupees and that is more than the minimum maximum amount that is chargeable to tax, in that case audit will be there. In simple words, अगर मेरा turnover 55 lakhs है, then I have to go to 44AB सब क्लॉज B, वहां पे मेरा कंपलसरी ऑडिट है. अगर मेरा टर्नओवर 45 lakhs है, then I have to see whether मैं 45 lakhs से 50% से कम दिखा रहा हूँ कि ज्यादा दिखा रहा हूँ. अगर ज्यादा दिखा रहे हो तो I can take benefit of ADA. अगर मैं कम दिखा रहा हूँ 50% से, then I have to go for compulsory audit under and this will be अगर clause D of 44AB, clause D में जाएगा. Okay, 44AA we can, I just provide you, you can skip right now. So this is what I have done is I have put in a few examples here. कि अगर hospital है तो उसको क्या मिले, AD मिलेगा कि ADA मिलेगा, independent blank. So I have just given a few examples that you can just go through it when I share the presentation. Information technology, again, if you are a professional, you can take benefit of 44ADA. And if you are just running kind of a cyber cafe or a computer training institute, they are not professionals. They can go to 44AD as a business income. So interplay जो मैंने बात किया था, as I said that 44AD का subsection 4 तो बताया था कि अब एक साल आप 44AD में जाओ, 2 साल जाओ, थर्ड ईयर नहीं जाओ, so that again is linked to 44AB subclause E, which says that you are to be compulsory audited for the next 5 years. This is all mentioned here. I will straight away go to the examples that will give more clarity. Yes, so I think this is a table that you all should carefully study. We'll take a few of them. Like first case is up to 1 crore turnover. Let's say 80 lakhs का turnover है. मेरा total income below exemption limit है. Let's say मेरा total income आती है 2 लाख रुपए. Next is मैं AD में पहले कभी गया हूँ, नहीं गया हूँ. मैं 8% profit दिखाता हूँ, तो मुझे audit करने की जरूरत है. The answer is no. Then let's say we can take one up here, like up to 1 crore. Point number A, E we can take. My income is more than 1 crore. Income is up to 1 crore. My total income is below exemption, yes. But I'm showing less than 4% profit. Even then, audit will not be there because 44AD भी optional है और 44AB भी मेरे लिए applicable नहीं है. तो ये आप जब पूरा चार्ट देखेंगे, lot of queries will be solved here. So let's say if you go to this CA, if my income is 2 to 10 crores, so I'm out of 44AD. 2 crore से ऊपर होती है, AD मुझे applicable नहीं होता है. Now, in that case, if my receipts and payments are up to 5%, answer is yes. Then my limit is 10 crores and I'm not subject to audit. But if my receipts and payments are more than 5% of the total cash and receipts of cash and payments, or say receipts and payments, in that case, I have to go for compulsory tax audit. So this table you can study and you can just get to know. You can revise all the 3 sections here. Okay, now, so what we discussed right now is first is, yes, you can get this PPT. I will share this PPT to all of you. You can go through it at your own pace. So now we have a few questions, so you can be a little more attentive now. So talking about 4 scenarios. One is if your income is below 1 crore. Second is 1 crore to 2 crores. Third is 1 to 10. And fourth is about 10. So if we talk about below 1 crore, 44AB will not be applicable. AD also is an option. 1 to 2 आपके पास AD का ऑप्शन रहता है और AB भी रहता है अगर आपका कैश में है तो. 1 to 10 again and second is 10 and above. 10 and above is a compulsory tax audit. So we have discussed all these 4 scenarios now. So now we are coming to a few questions. I think now I expect a lot of replies because these are all technical questions. Yes, I think Ganesh ji is Shukshant. I think we'll share the PPT with all of you. So Mr. D started manufacturing. And the first year turnover is 14 crores. Net profit 25 lakhs, total income 38 lakhs. Whether audit will be applicable? Now I need answers from you. Required. Okay, required where? How it is required? And why? Yes, 44AB subclause A. I want you to mention that because the limit is, and we are assuming everything is in cash. Then also yes. If no, then also yes, because it is more than 10 crores. So compulsory audit. No, 44AD would not be there, Sagar. Only 44AB subclause A will be there. Yes, we all are okay with this. Now coming to next question. Mr. K started manufacturing. Again, first year turnover is 1.5 crores. Like 150 lakhs is 1.5 crores and entire turnover is in cash. Net profit is 8 lakhs and total income is 8.5 lakhs. Whether audit is compulsory, whether I can go to 44AD or not. AD or AB. Okay, Khushi is saying for audit required. Most is saying audit required. Anybody? What about AD? AD में जा सकता हूँ मैं? No, I can go to AB. The AB and AD. Okay. 44AD and AB optional. Okay. No other income is there. No. Okay. So yes, the answer of this is for 44AD. The answer is no. Why? Because you have to compulsory get a books of accounts audited. आपका 1 करोड़ से ऊपर टर्नओवर है, आपका कैश है तो 10 करोड़ की लिमिट चली गई. कैश मुझे 1 करोड़ ही देखना है. अगर मेरा कैश है और 1 करोड़ से ऊपर है, then I am compulsory audited under 44AB. So AB is yes. Now coming to third situation. Mr. R is a doctor. Now he is in a trading receipt. वो उसका एक let's say एक उसका मेडिकल स्टोर भी है. उसकी ट्रेडिंग रिसिप्ट जो कैश में आती है वो 92 lakhs है. उसका नेट प्रॉफिट 10 lakhs है. उसकी डॉक्टर फीस है 45 lakhs जो उसकी प्रोफेशनल फीस है. उसका नेट प्रॉफिट ही शोज एज 25 lakhs. So my question here is, can he go for 44AD for his medical shop, 44AB एंड 44 ADA कौन सा एप्लीकेबल होगा इसके लिए? AD not allowed. ओमकार, why it is not allowed? ADA is not applicable. ADA is not applicable. Okay. Yes, Kushi says profession. AB applicable रहेगा. Profession. Okay. Okay. So the first question, 44 AD applicable नहीं होगा. 44 AD क्यों नहीं होगा? Because as I said, 44 AD is not applicable to a person who is a professional. So 44 AD is out. 44 AB का अंदर आएगा AB and ADA. So for the doctor fees, जो सा professional income है, he can go for ADA because it is less than 50 lakhs and he is showing more than 50% profit. So you can see here 45 lakhs का 50% दिखाया है, तो 22.5 से ज्यादा दिखाया है. So he can go for 44 ADA. And for the turnover in cash, since the limit is less than 1 crore rupees, his audit will not be there. Now, in this case, you are saying I want to club profession and business. No, here he can get the benefit of ADA for his professional receipts. Hence, we can say ADA yes, and for ADA limit is 50 lakhs. So he's showing less than 50 lakhs. 45 lakhs the receipts है. He's showing 50% less. So ADA yes, AB no, and AD also no because it's a profession. Now, next question. Mr. A is having a trading turnover, again all cash, of 85 lakhs. 85 lakhs trading turnover, net profit is 4 lakhs. Now, can he go for AD, AB? Not required audit, not required. Okay. Okay, 44 AD. All are saying 44 AD. Okay. Now, what is the profit percentage? Yes, he see again, I'm saying you 44 AB is not applicable, is less than 1 crore, and 44 AD also no, because he is showing less than 6% of less than 6 or 8% of profit. But most importantly, why no? Because इस case में उसको AD का applicable नहीं होगा, because AB भी applicable नहीं है. He is showing 4.7%. Raju to be exact, 4.7% profit वो दिखा रहे हैं. In that case, no need to go for 44 AD. He can just file his return without any complications. Now, last books of accounts required to maintain? No. Yes, again, in this case, Palak, as you were mentioning, then you have to see that 44AA के जो compliances है, आपका 25 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs वो fulfill होता है, then books of accounts are required to be maintained. Then next is Mr. S. Trading turnover again in cash is 95 lakhs. Commission is 6 lakhs. Net profit is 15 lakhs. In this case, whether AD or AB, what will be applicable? Can't opt for presumptive tax. Yes, Kushi very well replied. No. Okay, AB hoga. Yes, AB hoga ki nahi? Okay, Shagufta saying yes. Muskan saying yes. Okay. So again, the answer, as you all said, AD applicable nahi hoga because commission hai again. AB hoga because trading turnover and commission both are your businesses. Income exceeds 1 crore. It is 1 crore 1 lakh. It's entirely in cash. Yes, AB will be applicable. Yes, Seema again rightly said. AD no, AB yes. So I hope a lot of clarity you would have got with this, this kind of examples. The more you practice, because these are all the real life examples. ये जो मैंने लिए हैं सारे real life जो आपके clients लेके आते हैं उस तरह के examples हैं. So you'll be able to relate to it. Now coming to next question on the exemptions. Okay. So we all know about this. I think till now, any other question on 44 AB, AD, ADA? Any conceptual question that you have, you can put it in the chat box. Okay, Rajulal has a question. Okay, we'll take one question. Just a minute. I think. Okay, Shivani, thank you for being all clear. So in case of partnership firm, turnover is less than 1 crore, profit is less than 8% in ITR 3. Whether audit is applicable? No. So if your turnover is less than 1 crore, right? In that case, see, first of all, either before saying yes or no, when we see any audit under 44 AD, we have to see कि उसने last सालों में क्या लिया है. उसने AD कभी पहले लिया है, उसने कभी 6% 8% दिखाया है, और नेक्स्ट ईयर अगर नहीं दिखाते हैं तो फिर मुझे ऑडिट करना पड़ेगा. अब आपके केस में राजू जी अगर आप बोलते हो कि इसका फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ बिजनेस है, इन दैट केस टैक्स ऑडिट विल नॉट बी एप्लीकेबल बिकॉज 1 करोड़ से कम टर्नओवर है और प्रॉफिट 8% से कम है. नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, टैक्स ऑडिट भी जरूरी नहीं है. But yes, if you are saying that this is the third year और मैंने पहले 2 साल मैंने 8% दिखाया है, in that case I still might have to go for tax audit, because again you have to see कि वो 44AD subsection 4 में fall होता है कि नहीं. That is very important. F&O loss I will explain. Yes, first ITR, then nothing to be done, no audit. मुकेश जी का क्वेश्चन नहीं आया. डॉक्टर इज देयर, हिज ग्रॉस रिसीट्स. Okay, Raju ji, thank you, but I think I'm missing track of a few questions now. Okay, doctor is there. His gross receipts is 25 lakhs, income is 5 lakhs. So audit is required. So 25 lakhs का आप 50% करो, कितना होता है? 12.5 lakhs. उससे कम दिखा रहा है 5 lakhs. The answer is yes. And his 5 lakhs is more than the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. इसलिए आपका audit आएगा. F&O loss. So सीमा जी, F&O loss में क्या होता है? F&O में क्या होता है? That you have transactions, lot of transactions. किसी transaction profit होता है, किसी में loss होता है. So that what you have to do is you have to make a sum total of profit and loss. Loss में sign ignore कर दो. जो profit का मतलब सबको positive value कर दो. Profit and loss दोनों को मिला के उसका sum total करो. अगर वो sum total अगर आपका 1 करोड़ या 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा होता है, only then audit will be there. So you have to make a sum total of profit and loss, ignoring the sign of the loss. If a person has total turnover of 90 lakhs and showing 5% profit, then what section he will be applicable? Again, see, I am telling you, 90 lakhs है तो वो 1 करोड़ से कम है तो टैक्स ऑडिट के बाहर हो गया. पर अगर उसने पहले 44AD का बेनिफिट लिया हुआ है और इस साल में नहीं ले रहा है, in that case only he will be subject to audit, otherwise nothing to be done. 44AB D का explanation करूं? Okay, I'll do that. Can we carry forward F&O loss without 44AB audit? No, I think if you are subject to audit, then audit will have to be there, na? Then, sir, service provided by fiscal aiding agencies, professional service or technical service for the 194J. Okay, 194J is separate, but ideally what happens is, normally people take a view that fiscal aiding is a professional service, so they deduct under 194J. But again, there are another contrary view. I'm telling you, it's a contract also. People do it at 194C also, but to be on a safer side, they normally do it 194J. Okay, I think we will go forward. We will again come back to the questions. I'll take to the important points now. Yes, so now we had discussed the 3 sections. Now, as I told you, there is a rule 6G which talks about the forms. So form 3CA, form 3CB, and 3CD. So what is form 3CA? This is an audit report where the accounts are already audited. We have the Companies Act के अंदर, रेरा के अंदर, LLP के अंदर कहीं audit हुआ है already. तो हमको साथ में उसको audit statements भी annex करना है. So again, very important. 3CA talks about true and correct view of the particulars in 3CD. हम normally कह सकते हैं true and fair view, but here we have to give true and correct view because whatever is mentioned in 3CD, that information is true and correct. We are certifying that. That is 3CA. Now next is 3CB. So either or. For example, I said that the audit where the accounts are not audited, the report. So for example, if you are having an individual who is not subject to audit anywhere, he will be giving audit report for him in form 3CB. Along with either one of them, we have to give form 3CD. It is a statement of particulars to be furnished along with form 3CA and 3CB. Now form 3CD is basically that we are talking about the 44 clauses. That is form 3CD. So now I think the broad structure is clear. 3CA or 3CB and form 3CD. So what is form? So what is turnover? Yes, very, very important definition. Normally what happens, आपके client आते हैं, I will give you a practical example. They will tell you that my turnover is 98 lakhs and it has cash portion more than 5% and my GST is 6 lakhs. So whether my turnover will be 1 crore 6 lakhs or 4 lakhs or 98 lakhs for the purpose of audit. So yes, we can discuss this question live only. Anybody wants to give answer? So you got the question again. So suppose what my question is, suppose my turnover is 98 lakhs and in 98 lakhs it is cash portion is more than 5%. So I am subject to tax audit if it exceeds 1 crore and I have 6 lakhs of GST. So whether my turnover will be considered 1 lakh 4 or 1 crore 4 lakhs or it will be 98 lakhs. So GST not included, 98 lakhs 104. Okay, so I'm getting both the answers. But again, this is an extract of the guidance note. So why I'm telling you to refer to guidance note is because they have clarified this thing. That normally what happens that if you have a turnover of 98 lakhs and GST of 6 lakhs, all depends upon how you account for those entries. So if you are following an inclusive method or an exclusive method, if you are following an exclusive method, जो normally सब लोग follow करते हैं, जहाँ पे 98 lakhs P&L में दिखाते हैं और 6 lakhs आपका बैलेंस शीट आइटम है जहाँ पे हम प्लस माइनस करके आईटीसी माइनस करके नेट दिखाते हैं. If you are following an exclusive method, then 98 lakhs will be your turnover. But if you are following an inclusive method where you show on the P&L only all the expenses including GST, all the incomes including GST, in that inclusive method you will have to show 104 as your sales. But normally 99% of the cases they all are showing exclusive method. Hence 90 GST will not be included in 98 lakhs. But again, as I'm telling you, you should know the logic. डायरेक्ट ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि जीएसटी इंक्लूड नहीं हो रहा है. इंस्टीट्यूट ने बोला है कि आप अगर एक्सक्लूसिव मेथड फॉलो करते हो तो ही आपको जीएसटी को नहीं कंसीडर करना है. Now there are two important sections here. When we talk about tax audit report, I think we all know in 2019 there were two important sections which were introduced. Section 115BAA and 115BAB. Anybody knows what is this about? I think those who have done last year audit, they would be knowing about this. 115BAA and BAB. And especially to the students, I want you to now start learning these sections also. You know, it's very important for you.
It will help in academics also.
Yeah, of course. No, new tax rate, tax benefit 22%. Yes, reduced rate. Okay. Reduced rate, that is not 30%. So what is not 30%? Introduced in the new regime. Okay, so again, this is again part of a tax audit report only that you have to report on this. So there were two new sections, new regime. Everybody saying new regime, but new regime mein kya hai? So that is what we're going to discuss now. Two new schemes were there for the existing companies in October 2019. उनको एक ऑप्शन दिया गया 115BAA के अंदर that if your taxation will be reduced to 22% without MAT, right? If you don't claim any incentives and exemptions, उसमें कोई लिस्ट दी हुई थी. अगर आप इतने exemptions claim नहीं करो तो आपको जो current existing था मेरा 25%, उसकी बजाय आपको 22% लग जाएगा और MAT भी निकल जाएगा. This was for the existing companies. And in October 19 के बाद जो companies form हुई है, so let's say the companies which would have been formed during the COVID time or even the last 1 year, all those companies, if they are manufacturing companies, new manufacturing companies, for them they have an option of claiming 15% tax rate plus excise. That's what you call education cess. So, and again without MAT. So very beneficial provisions. That number one, if you have your existing company on 1st October 2019, then you can go for 22% instead of 25%. You can be out of MAT, but you cannot claim certain benefits and exemptions. We'll discuss that. And second is, if you're a new manufacturing company set up on or after 1st October 2019, in that case, you can have an option of going for lower tax of 15% without MAT. So बहुत बार क्या होता है, अभी हमारे जो नए कंपनी जो नए क्लाइंट्स आते हैं, अगर वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है, उन्होंने को 15% का ऑप्शन लेना है, तो 115BAB में जाने के लिए उनको एक फॉर्म भी फाइल करना होता है. We will discuss that. So these are all the new schemes introduced. I think students have mentioned about the recording that I think Hrishikesh ji will be able to throw light afterwards. Yeah, it's there on the YouTube also. Yeah, so next, this is basically a gist of what we were talking about. That the current rate was 25%. उसके सामने आपको 22% मिल रहा है और नई कंपनीज के लिए 15% है. Again, you have to add surcharge of 10% and education cess of 4% irrespective of your income. So this comes to around 25% something, and this comes around 17 point something. So these are the new rates for the companies. Now these are the exemptions. अगर आप वो नए rates में जाते हो, तो you fail to get these exemptions. Then obviously ये exemptions आप नहीं ले सकते हो. The most important being section chapter 6A, part C. Part C मतलब आपके जितने भी deductions होते हैं part C में जो income based है, वो आपको deductions नहीं मिलेंगे, except section 80JJAA. Now this is perhaps a very interesting section. I normally speak a lot in this section. I love this section because a lot of people don't know about it, and it's a very beneficial section. So for all the students, please refer to 80JJAA. It's a very benefit section for new employment. किसी ने भी नए employees add किए हैं, there are a few conditions. If you follow those conditions, you get extra 30% deduction of your additional compensation. So it's a very beneficial deduction. That deduction is still available to the new companies. तो मैंने जो बात किया था कि आपको ये दो क्लेम करने के लिए आपको 10 IC और 10 ID फॉर्म्स फाइल करने होते हैं. So if you want to go for 115BAA for existing companies, you will have to file form number 10 IC. And if you are going for a new manufacturing company 15% wale mein, in that you have to go for 115 BAB and 10 ID. So these forms 10 IC and 10 ID have to be filed before you file the ITR. So it is very important. If you file it after the due date, the benefit will not be available. As I said, penalty we have discussed already. Penalty हमने already discuss किया है. Reasonable causes जो normally हमने judgment से देखेंगे इतने reasonable cause वो गिनते हैं, तो that is also mentioned here. This we have discussed. Okay, now we'll straight away go to the very important point. Yeah, this also we have categorically discussed. Yeah, so this is form 3CA. As I told you, I'm going an overview of the forms now. It's very important that 3CA क्या mention करता है that I report that we report that the statutory audit of Messer so and so was conducted by so and so. So either we are the statutory auditor or somebody else can be a statutory auditor. So to mention that. Now normally what the mistake everybody does, here it is mentioned along with the copy of each of the audited P&L balance sheet and this. So this is what we have to attach. हम लोग को जो ऑनलाइन अपलोडिंग में अटैच करना पड़ता है, हमको पूरी स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, देन यू नो द फाइनेंशियल, द बैलेंस शीट, द कैश फ्लोज, everything will have to be scanned and attached. उसका पावर यहाँ पे दिया because we are saying that we are attaching a copy of these things. So if you are the tax auditor or you are not the tax auditor or you are not the statutory auditor, then we have to obtain the stat audit report from the statutory auditor and upload it along with our tax audit report. Then point number B talks about that we are furnishing form 3CD as we have discussed that. And if you have any qualifications, if you have any observations of the tax audit report, you have to mention in point number 3. So A talks about your under which law it has been audited, who has been your statutory auditor, and you know what is the audit report of the statutory audit report, and then it mentions about P&L, audit balance sheet, and the other declarations. These are all to be affixed with the audit report, the tax audit report. B talks about 3CD, the statement is mentioned in 3CD, and C talks about the observations, the qualifications if you have in the tax audit report. Then your name is signed, signatory, full address, and also now the UDIN. UDIN is compulsory for the tax audit report. This is CCB. CCA हमने देखा जहाँ पे for companies, LLP जिनके अंडर में भी audit है उसके लिए है. CCB is largely for those who are not subject to audit. तो उसका तो कभी भी दूसरा कोई audit हुआ ही नहीं होगा. तो उसमें हम लिख रहे हैं कि we have examined the balance sheet, we have examined, we certify that they are true and fair, and then we have to mention that subject to the above, and if you have any qualifications you will mention here. That again the same thing. This is one pager format for 3CA and 3CB. And after that, as I told to you that form 3CD there are two parts, part A and part B. हमने देखा form 3CA and 3CB are form of audit reports. Form 3CD are the statement of particulars which are required to be furnished. उसके part A has clause 1 to 8, part B has clauses 9 to 44. So 1 to 8 are very simple, name, address, वो सब उसके अंदर मांगे. I'll show to you. Part B talks about 9 to 44, all the clauses. I have also mentioned कब कितने clauses add या amend हुए थे. So 3CD quickly, tomorrow you have a session on this, but you can have a glance of what it is about. That you can say your name, address, permanent number, whether SS is liable, status, all these things are mentioned in clause 1 to 8. Here the most important is clause number 4. Because it is mentioned about whether the SSC is liable to pay indirect taxes. So what we do normally is that, for example, suppose you are seeing any company's turnover is more than 20 lakhs rupees, more than the GST limit. He is liable to pay. If he has not taken GST number, then you have to mention here that though the SSC is liable to pay, he has not taken the GST registration. So that, and if he has more than one GST numbers, like in the entire country on the same PAN, you have to mention all the GST numbers here. This is about the clauses 1 to 8. Then these are all the clauses. So 9, 10. I'm not going to go through it because tomorrow you have a specific section on it. But these are all the sections. I will share the presentation. You can go through the entire tax audit report. That all the sections along with the tables that I have mentioned here. Okay, clause 13 is very important for the ICDS, method of accounting. I think for all the students, it is very important that when you prepare tax audit report, clause number 13F talks about ICDS, which is very, very important. D and E, you can see here, income computation and disclosure standards. बहुत सारे CA students को नहीं पता होता कि ICDS क्या होता है. I think please read those sections, those ICDS. There are, as of now, there are 9 ICDS which are applicable. So ICDS का भी disclosure देना बहुत जरूरी है. That is also very important. Then method of valuation of stock. Again, there are different tables. You'll be, again, inclusive, exclusive, you'll be taught tomorrow. Then capital asset conversion into stock in trade, that is also there. All these things these are all the parts. Again, depreciation के लिए अलग से schedule है tax audit report में. Depreciation, you can see the which asset, rate of depreciation, WDV. You can see all is there. Then you also have amount admissible under the specific sections, that is also mentioned here. This you are going to do tomorrow, so I'm quickly running through it. Then any bonus or commission paid to the employee, whether it is within the due date, not within the due date, all is mentioned over here. Then whether any capital expenditure, personal expenditure, advertisement, all is mentioned over here. Again, club expenditures. Then TDS का point है, TDS नहीं काटा, non-resident को payment किया तो भी यहाँ देना पड़ता है. 21. Then talks about resident payments where you have not deducted TDS. Again, you have to mention over here. So again, a very, very important section is point number clause number 22. Inadmissible under section 23 of MSME Act. I think a lot of people are not aware that MSME Act makes specific provision in interest that you are supposed to pay interest to your creditors if you are not paid on time. If the creditors are MSME, if they are small creditors, MSME creditors, then you have to compulsorily make a provision or make the payment of interest. Now, that interest that you pay to them is not allowable to you in income tax. Because MSME Act के अंदर ही लिखा हुआ है कि ये जो interest आप pay करोगे वो आपको कोई भी act के अंदर allowable नहीं मिलेगा. So that amount we have to mention in clause number 22. Then it talks about 48(2)(b), that is payment to related party persons. Then there are specific on 41. If you have any 41, 43(b), again as we discussed, कि जो payment basis पे liability मिलती है वो भी मुझे mention करनी पड़ती है. Then it talks about the SENVAT, the GST credit that we take normally. These are all the forming part of the tax audit report. Then this is transfer pricing provision 92C के लिए अलग से clauses है. Then I can share this with you. You can read it at your own convenience. Then tools can assess the loans. उसके ऊपर भी है. You will discuss this tomorrow at length. Then coming to brought forward losses, very important. These brought forward losses and depreciation allowances should be matching with your ITR. Again, a very, very important thing. Then section wise deduction, whatever deductions you've taken in chapter 6A, be it under section 80 or whatever sections you have taken, or everything has to be mentioned here. 34 table is very, very important as far as articles are also concerned, that on the TDS front, आपको TDS कितना कटा है, कितना कटना चाहिए, everything is mentioned over here. To mention here that under which section was liable to be deducted, what is the amount which is liable to be deducted, how much is deducted, whether any short deduction or not, everything is mentioned over here. Clause B talks about TDS returns, whether they were filed in time or not, and C talks about interest if you have paid on the TDS, all is mentioned over here. 35 talks about quantitative details of the principal goods stated. आप जो stock का details मांगते हो वो 35 के अंदर आता है. So manufacturing और सबका अलग-अलग रहता है. Then coming to 36 about deemed dividend. Then you have cost audit report. Then this is very important. Clause 40 talks about the ratios. GP ratio, NP ratio, उन सब के ऊपर guidance note में बहुत अच्छे से दिया हुआ है कि आपको net profit क्या consider करना है. So they have mentioned net profit should be before tax. So they have clarified a lot of things here. Point number 41 talks about any demand raise or refund issued during the previous year under any law other than income tax. So for example, if you have any refund issued under GST for the exports or anything, or if you have any demand in GST or any other law, that also has to be mentioned here. Then 61AB, everything, so you can go through it around. This is a clause number 44 which is now applicable. GST का breakup भी हमको ये format पे देना पड़ता है. So this basically audit report you'll going to study tomorrow, but you can just go through the clauses before you come tomorrow. Documentation, as 𝐾𝐻𝐶d was rightly mentioning about the importance of documentation. I think there is a standards on auditing. We have to go through the standards on auditing. Right from your appointment, you should have an engagement letter on your hand. You should be a proper. All these things will be signed in your file. In your file. There should be MRL. So even for tax audit report, you should have an engagement letter and have a management representation letter. So all the particulars that are mentioned in CCD, it is being provided by the SSC only. हम लोग नहीं बनाते हैं, SSC हमको देता है, हम उसी को certify करते हैं. So those all things should form part of your MRL. Then, as I said, overall objectives. Standards on auditing 200, SA 200 is a very good standard on the objectives and conduct of audit. That again we will have to follow it. Audit planning, all these things are equally applicable to your tax audit report as well. जो हमने इसके अंदर mention किया हुआ है. Disclaimers, again they have given format of the qualifications, format of disclaimers. If you have any kind of such in the tax audit report, you can even mention that also here. Now, what is to be maintained? We have to maintain the register for tax audit carried out during the year. we have to have a communication with the previous auditors. So I think very important, if you're having a audit for the first year in this year, make sure that you get an NOC from the previous auditor. So that should be on the file. Then documentation of CCD should be separate. As I said, CCD is all about annexures that the client provides you. Have a proper documentation for everything. So if they is saying account page checks here, so take a few samples. If it's showing inventory records, take a few samples on record. So all these things should be well documented. You should have a checklist. So for 3CD, you should have a complete checklist of what documents you would want. If you have any debatable issues, for example, certain things, you have certain qualifications which management says, no, I'm not agreeing to this. Then you have to really mention it. You have to take everything in the management representation letter, and you have to mention your viewpoint also on the audit report in the qualification column. Okay, important of peer review is okay for students. Okay, now I think again mentioning a few important things here. As you can see here, what I'm mentioning is how to upload the tax audit report. Again, I'm showing an overview that I'll give you with a screenshot that tax audit report upload कैसे करते हैं. आपने एक बार tax audit report आपके software से आपने utility से बना दी है. After that, first of all, the client will add you as a CA. So client will add you as a chartered accountant for the tax audit. Once he adds you, then you have to go for your action portal में आपको CA का login करना है, आपको जाके accept करना है that yes, I am accepting to do his tax audit. After you accept, you have to then go and file the tax audit report. And after filing the tax audit report, along with the supporting, so you don't have to file only the tax audit report. You have to upload the XML of the tax audit report. You have to upload the, if it is Form 3CA, you have to upload the statutory audit report, the financials, audited financials, and also the statements, the significant accounting policies. Everything will have to be uploaded. Once all the things are uploaded, then the same goes again to the SSD client's portal, and client will have to check it, and then he has to verify it. Once he says okay, then only the final uploading is done. So this is again forming part of the new portal that came last year. At first you have to just CMA login में जाके आपको देखना है कि SSD ने आपको add किया है कि नहीं. Once he is added, you have to accept. You can see here, you have to accept that yes, I will be filing the form. After accepting, the tab will be file form. You have to file the form. You have to go here. You have to go to the continue mode and then go to the form. So here again, I'm mentioning here, attached file here is your 3CD and 3CA in a XML file, JSON file, and here then there are attach your balance sheet, attach P&L, attach cost audit report, and others. So normally what we do is for all your balance sheets and P&L come here along with their notes and schedules, and your independent audit report is normally put in the others column. Yes. So what are the common mistakes that we have seen in the tax audit report? Now again, this is very, very important section. Additional depreciation taken at half rate. So as you know that before a few years there was an amendment that suppose आपने कोई machinery purchase किया है, उस पे additional depreciation आपको 20% मिलता है. आपने machinery अक्टूबर के बाद purchase करी है जहाँ पे आपको half rate मिलता है. So in that case, instead of 20%, you are eligible only for 10% of additional depreciation. So earlier that balance 10% used to be lapsed. वो हमको नहीं मिलता था. Now what they have done is they have the balance 10% जो है वो next year में आपको मिलता है. So we have to very sure that in our tax audit report we also consider if any additional depreciation which was not taken, which is due for the current year, like that half rate is due for the current year, that is again taken in the tax audit report, because only if it is mentioned here it can be matched with the ITR. Second is selection of clause under 44AB. Very important. As I said, there are 5 clauses. A, we talked about 1 crore, 10 crores for the business. B, we talked about the profession 50 lakhs. C, we talked about the oiling, the foreign company, non-residents, a shipping company. D, we talk about 44ADA, and clause E, we talk about 44AD subsection 4. So suppose you are not a professional, you are doing under 44AD subsection 4. I have seen a lot of talks already which are getting uploaded in clause number D. वहाँ पे वो 44ADA में डाल देते हैं. So we have to be very specific that selection of clause should be right. ITR and TAR के अंदर figures match करनी चाहिए. I think the biggest point of difference when it comes to not matching, we get a notice from the department. For example, you have to mention that you have made 43B payments on time. And if you say that, for example, I have made certain payment of provident fund contribution after the due date, and I have added it back, disallowed it in my ITR, but in my tax audit report, I have failed to do that. Again, I will get a query why there is a mismatch. So I have to see that the figures mentioned in the ITR and in the tax audit report, they also match. Then again I said cross verify the details. So normally क्या होता है, brought forward losses, underbrought depreciation, ये सब हमारे ITR के अंदर brought forward होते हैं, and we have to correctly mention those brought forward losses also in the tax audit report. If you're not mentioning it, again the disallowances will happen. Ratios and quantitative details. I think ratios के लिए please read the guidance note. They have mentioned everything very specifically. As I said, net profit before tax होना चाहिए, finished goods के अंदर क्या लेना है, आपको material consumed के अंदर क्या क्या लेना है. Everything has been clarified in the guidance note. So basis on that, you have to prepare the ratios. And for the quantitative details, make sure that you also have supporting documents from your clients. खाली वो लिख के दे ऐसा नहीं होता है. You will also have to have some supporting documents. PFESI, as I said, जैसे normally क्या होता है PFESI, there are employee portion, the employer portion. Normally the employee portion जो होता है, that has to be deposited before the due date of the respective act. तो अगर मेरा 15 तारीख को पीएफ का ड्यू डेट है, तो मैंने अगर 16 तारीख को डिपॉजिट किया है, तो एम्प्लॉय पोर्शन विल बी डिसअलाउड. नाउ इफ यू आर डिसअलाउइंग दैट पोर्शन इन द आईटीआर, make sure you also disallow in the tax audit report, and that amounts and figures should match. TDS details, I think I've seen a lot of tax audit reports where TDS details are wrongly put in. Your total payments in balance sheets, आपको जो expense में दिखता है वो बहुत बड़ा amount दिखता है, TDS आपने बहुत कम दिखाया होता है. वो TDS के अंदर the first column talks about the nature of payment and the amount of payment. So for example, if you are making an employee payment, तो जिस पे TDS कटा है वो खाली लेटर 100 रुपए होगा, पर आपका टोटल एम्प्लॉय पेमेंट 200 रुपए है, तो यू हैव टू मेंशन 200 आल्सो, उसके नेक्स्ट कॉलम में 100 रुपए आएगा. So these things will have to be very well tracked. Depreciation schedule should be right. You have to mention the date of when the asset was put to use. You have to mention the depreciation rate. Everything should be very well captured. Okay, if the asset is not required to calculate accounting ratio, notes should be added for the same. As I said, for the clause number 4, indirect taxes के लिए, normally what happens, we just say कि GST number है, excise number है, या मेरा service tax number था पहले, या मेरा custom से कुछ number है, तो all those things, IC code है, I just used to mention that. But we should now inquire, because we have to mention that whether the SSE is required to obtain. So if I am required to obtain a GST number, I am required to obtain an IEC, then I have to mention that whether the SSE has got the number or not. So this, as I said, is on the common, as I said, there's a beautiful report, given by the institute on the common mistakes of the tax audit report. And again, if you want, I can share that link to you. You can download the report. In those reports, I have put down a few points which are very important. As I said, जो हमने discuss नहीं किया, I'll take those points. So for the books of accounts, so there's a clause which talks about books of accounts maintenance. So books of accounts have been prescribed only for specific professions. जो 44AA1 में होते हैं, उन्हीं के लिए books of accounts prescribe किया है, बाकी के लिए prescribe नहीं किया है. So for example, the companies के लिए, they have to maintain books of accounts in which they can justify their income. They don't have any prescription for books of accounts. तो जहाँ पे clause है, जहाँ बोलते हैं कि भी books of accounts has been specifically prescribed, तो companies में भी लोग yes कर देते हैं. The answer is no. वहाँ पे no आना चाहिए, because company के लिए prescribe किया ही नहीं है. It is prescribed only for the specific professions. And second important thing is, the fact that the books of accounts are maintained in computer system was not reported in many cases. आजकल everything is being online, everything cloud पे होता है, computer पे होता है. We have to mention that all these things are also maintained in the computer system, because that is again required to be mentioned. As I said about the ICDS, a lot of people don't do disclosures. I think now people have started doing it. Initially वो नहीं होता था. 13F requires that out of the 9-10 ICDS that have been issued, you have to make disclosures of all of them, and any deviation is there in the ICDS, we have to report it in clause 13F. Okay, as I said, the first point is again very important. Details of additions or deletions in tax audit report are not in line with the figures as disclosed in the audited financial statements. ये हमको दोनों को tally करना है. Even PF भी same चीज है. Yes, now this last point, K number also, late filing fee of TDS return paid was reported under any other penalty or fine not covered above. So again, this has to be covered. This is a late filing fee. It is not a penalty. It's a late filing fees. As I said, MSME interest का भी normally हम report नहीं करते, वो भी report करना चाहिए. When you talk about 44A2B, the related parties name and PAN should be specified. Okay, similarly, respective persons का नाम देना पड़ेगा. हम consolidated figure नहीं देते कि total salary from related party XYZ. No, we have to mention each and every person's name and each and every figure, along with it. Excise duty का भी बहुत लोग उस इन्वेंट डिटेल नहीं डालते हैं. That we have to make sure that it happens. I can share this with you. I'll share the important things now. Okay, again, I have mentioned here that in guidance note, they mentioned that scrap is to be included as a part of turnover. Even if it is not considered part of in the P&L, it's shown separately whether or not, for example, if you're having a total trading receipt of, let's say, 1 crore and scrap sale of 4 lakhs. So your turnover for the purpose of calculation of all the figures will be 1 crore 4 lakhs. So scrap sales will have to be included in the turnover. That again, the ratios will have to be calculated accordingly. As I said, net profit should be before tax. The guidance would be mentioned किया है और बहुत जगह पे हम after tax profit ले लेते हैं. That is again wrong. So these are the few major issues in the tax audit report. I think I just have 15-20 minutes. I can test concluding note, then we can take a few questions. I think so. One is mentioning, can I get your mobile? Okay, mobile number is there at the end. I can share with you. Any other questions before we go for the concluding remarks? Just a minute. Okay, new employees you want to know? Okay, I will explain that. Okay, so you want to know about the 𝐸𝐴 new employment? Okay, so 𝐸𝐴 is basically talking about the earlier it was for SSEs who are having factory and manufacturing units. Now it is applicable for all tax audit SSEs. So if you are under tax audit, you can take benefit of 𝐸𝐴. What does this section talk about? This section talks about that if you have a new employment, for example, in March 21, you have, let's say, 20 employees, 20, and in March 22, you have 45 employees. You have added additional 25 employees in the current year. So for those 25 employees that you added in the current year, you can take benefit of extra 30% of the salary. For example, I give you these figures. You have 20 employees on March 21. In the financial year 21-22, you added additional 25 employees. तो वो 25 एम्प्लॉइज का टोटल सैलरी का पैकेज वो साल का कितना होता है? लेट्स से वो 10 लाख रुपए होता है. तो 10 लाख का एडिशनल 30%, 3 lakh rupees you get as a deduction under 𝐸𝐴 and then you get it for 3 years. तो वो 3 लाख वो 3 साल के लिए मिलेगा. There are a few conditions. तो conditions क्या है? Conditions number 1, that those 25 employees should have worked with you for 240 days or more. Condition number 2, those employees उनको आप पेमेंट जो करो आप बैंकिंग चैनल से करो, नॉट इन कैश. 3, they should be part of your PF, उसके ऊपर PF कटना चाहिए. एंड 4, उनका सैलरी 25,000 से कम होना चाहिए. तो नॉर्मली जो फैक्ट्री के वर्कर्स होते हैं या नॉर्मली जो स्टाफ होते हैं जो हम लेते हैं उस सब में ये बेनिफिट मिलता है. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्शन. Parth, you want me to share the entire section again or what do you want to share? You want me to share? Okay, why was it reduced? This was reduced to promote employment. बिकॉज अगर आप एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रमोट करोगे तो आपको ये एडिशनल बेनिफिट मिलता है और ये बहुत बड़ा, ये आपको 3 साल के लिए मिलेगा. नाउ लेट्स से अज्यूमिंग नेक्स्ट ईयर यू स्टार्ट विद 45 एंड यू लेट्स से गो अप टू 50. तो जो 5 नए एम्प्लॉय लिए हैं उसका बेनिफिट अगेन 3 साल तक मिलेगा. तो इट्स अ क्यूमुलेटिव इफेक्ट. कीप ऑन एम्प्लॉयमेंट इंक्रीजिंग, यू कैन गेट द बेनिफिट क्यूमुलेटिवली. उसके लिए एज अ सीए यू विल आल्सो हैव टू गिव अ फॉर्म 10DA. एक ऑडिट रिपोर्ट होता है 10DA के अंदर. And it's a very very important provision. So if you are if you have any client which is a new company, for example, नई कंपनी में तो और भी अच्छा है because सारे employees new employees हैं. So we can get so these you can try and condition this. Yes, so you mentioned here original plus additional. No, so you are starting with 20 of last year coming to 45 at March 23. So the increase is 25. Only for those increase you can get. अब बीच में कोई छोड़ के भी जाएंगे कोई जाएंगे तो नेट इंक्रीज जो साल में होता है उतने एम्प्लॉइज का ही हमको 𝐸𝐴 के अंदर बेनिफिट मिलता है फॉर 3 years. आई होप दैट इज क्लियर नाउ, राइट? सो the transporter having turnover of 22 lakhs and does not opt for 44AE, does he require tax audit? So again I tell you it is not about 22 lakhs is the figure is अगर वो आपके जो ट्रांसपोर्टर के लिए 44AE में जो कंडीशंस दिए हुए हैं, we have to see whether 10 trucks or less, whether heavy trucks, light trucks, उसका क्या रेट है उसके हिसाब से we have to show. अगर वो उससे कम प्रॉफिट दिखाता है then yes he will have to get tax audit done. So you are saying Isha, if he's a transport provider, he's just providing his own, does not own trucks, he's just a service provider. So अगर वो ट्रक्स नहीं है तो वो सर्विस कैसे प्रोवाइड करेगा? लाइक किसी और के लेके करता होगा. तो इन दैट केस ही विल बी इट विल बी हिज बिजनेस, ही विल नॉट बी अ प्रोफेशन. वो बिजनेस इनकम में ही आएगा. Okay, so we will now go to the concluding note before we take a few questions. I think less time is left now. So I think during the COVID times we have seen that Modi ji came up with a very good message that we all know about the vowels A, E, I, O, U. He had come up with the vowels of the new world, and those vowels A, he stands for adaptability. And I think when I talk about adaptability, I think very important for all of us as chartered accountants, as students, that we have to be adaptable now. अभी हम जो ऑडिट पहले करते थे उसमें और अभी बहुत डिफरेंस है. बहुत सारे क्लाइंट्स आपको ऑनलाइन डेटा भेजेंगे, आपको फिजिकल कॉपी नहीं आएगी. So you have to get adaptable to it. We have to start doing that, adaptable to those. Second is efficiency. We have to increase their efficiency. Being students, being members, we have to make sure that we use less of Facebook, less of Instagram when we are doing our tax audit reports, because then only your productivity and efficiency will increase. So as they say that productivity and efficiency should matter more than merely an appearance of effort. Then obviously he had mentioned about the inclusivity, and the fourth is the most important, opportunity. I would really like to tell you that as students, it's a perfect time for you to do chartered accountancy, because there is so much opportunities lying in front of you. Apart from the practice, the job, there is a digital transformation. There is there are information technologies where CAs are also going in. So a lot of opportunities are there for all of us. And of course, last, we have to make sure that we also have a universalization wherein we have global relevance and application. Now coming to this section, I think you all know this, the story that we used to follow in schools, that there was an old crow and a modern crow. So old crow, we all know, jahan pe wo pebble dal ke he used to drink water. But we all have to now strive to become a modern crow. We have to make sure that we do something out of the box. We update ourselves daily. We could save a lot of our extra efforts. So yes, summing up whatever, I think this is perhaps the slide that I want all of you to be very serious about. And that is about Japanese attitude of work. We all know, if one can do, I can do it. If no one can do it, I must do it. That is what Japanese feel, that if कोई कर सकता है तो मैं तो करूंगा ही, और कोई नहीं कर सकता तो मेरे को करना ही पड़ेगा. That is the attitude that they have. And what is our attitude of work? If one can do it, let him do it. And if no one can do it, how can I do it? I think this is what we have to change now. Even if for learning or whatever we are doing, we have to follow the Japanese attitude, and we have to make sure that we also do it what is required. So with this, I think we all know that filing of the tax returns and the tax audit is a task that requires considerable skill to do well in maintaining the right balance between the objective analysis, the subjective judgment, and the judicious reporting. Now, if we have any questions, we can take it. I think we have 10 minutes for that. I'm on time now. We have 10 minutes. If you have any questions, so yes, you can get the PPT. I will send the PPT to ऋषिकेश. He can then circulate it.
Yes. So regarding PPT, we will send जो भी अभी attend किए लोगों ने उनको email कर देंगे. Also, it will be available on the Telegram channel of the Satara WICASA.
And Bhavin ji का question है turnover 97 lakhs and professional income 1.2 lakhs. So again, no. So professional के लिए cash देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको business का ही देखना है. Business में 97 lakhs में अगर 1 crore से कम है, no need to get the tax audit done. Payment made in cash for stamp duty and registration of residential house shown in fixed assets. Okay, whether that will be counted for calculating 5% cash payment? Yes. So whatever payments you are there, be it for a fixed asset or whatever, you have to consider that also for the 5% thing. TDS. Okay, now very important question that Komal has raised. Komal, thank you for bringing that to my notice. So for example, if my turnover is 7 crores and all my income and expenses are through banking channel, whether I am subject to tax audit, that is first question. I want a yes or a no. My turnover is 7 crores. Yes, Pallavi, you are mentioning on the link. Okay, that you can message me on my number. I can send you the link also if you want. My number is mentioned here. So you can message, I will send you the link also if you require. Okay, so my first question as I was telling you is that if my turnover is 7 crores, everything through banking channel and no payments in cash, whether I am subject to tax audit or not? The answer is yes. Okay, Shagupta is saying yes, no. Again, I am repeating, my turnover is 7 crores. My banking channel, my sales and receipts are all through banking channel. No cash involved. तो मैं टर्नओवर कितना तो मेरा ऑडिट होगा? द आंसर इज नो, बिकॉज मैं अगर वो एक्सेप्शन फॉलो होता हूं तो मेरा टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ होता है लिमिट के लिए, उससे कम है तो टैक्स ऑडिट नहीं होगा. बट अ फर्दर क्वेश्चन, वेदर आई एम रिक्वायर्ड टू फॉलो द आई हैव टू डिडक्ट टीडीएस. जो टीडीएस मुझे डिडक्ट करना है कि नहीं, फॉर एग्जांपल 194C के अंदर या 194I के अंदर. सो मुकुल सेज यस. I'm not subject to tax audit because my turnover is less than 10 crores. But whether I have to deduct TDS, everyone saying yes. Anyone can tell me the logic behind deduction of TDS here? Komal is saying no. Komal, I'll only answer your question. Anyone having any other no limit for company? No, I'm saying about individual also. Individual HUF है वो. Company के लिए कोई limit नहीं है, पर individual के लिए. No, again, see, from your answer, say you have to understand one thing. इससे मैंने बोला कि sections पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. हाँ, अगर हम 2 या 3 साल पहले की बात करें, तब वो क्वेश्चन क्या आता था? अगर आप 194C या 194J पढ़ो, उस टाइम पे रेफरेंस आता था कि if you are an individual and HUF and if you are under the limits under 44 subclause A and subclause B, then you will deduct TDS. राइट? इसका मतलब अगर आप सबक्लॉज ए और बी में फॉल होते हो तो टीडीएस करना है, मतलब 10 करोड़ या 50 लाख. पर द गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो वेरी स्मार्ट. दे हैव चेंज्ड द वर्डिंग नाउ. They have mentioned in all the sections that if you are having a business of 1 crore or profession of 50 lakhs and above, in that case, compulsory TDS will have to be deducted. So even if your turnover is 7 crores, no tax audit, but TDS will be there.
Sir, you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody
Anuradha,
wants to
so
raise
whether
your
TDS is on 7 crore or 2 crore, no. Please excuse me, I'm having a bad throat. So TDS will be on. तो TDS ऐसा नहीं होता है, आपको अगर 1 करोड़ से ऊपर होता है तो TDS से प्रोविजंस अप्लाई हो जाते हैं. So for example, if you are having a turnover of 7 crores, then you have to follow 194C, 194J, and I'm talking about individual and HUF. For companies and for LLBs, there is no restriction. उसमें तो आपको TDS करना ही पड़ता है. Yes, Deepak rightly mentioned about individual and HUF. Hence, I'm telling you to start reading the section. 8% और 5% प्रॉफिट वाला कंसेप्ट एक बार बता दीजिए. ओके, तो पहले हम 5% की बात करते हैं. आई थिंक रादर देन गोइंग टू द 8%, हमने जैसे बात किया 44AB की बात कर रहे हैं, उसके अंदर फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज दैट योर टर्नओवर शुड बी 1 करोड़, तो आपका टैक्स ऑडिट होता है. अगर आपने 2 कंडीशन एडिशनल फुलफिल करी, वो कंडीशंस क्या है? पहला कंडीशन है कि आपका टोटल रिसीट्स है उसका 5% से कम अगर कैश में है, मतलब आपका टोटल रिसीट लेट से 50 लाख का है, उसमें सेल्स भी आ गया, पार्टनर कैपिटल भी आ गया, सब रिसीट्स आ गई, और कैश में लेट से खाली 1 लाख रुपए ही है, मतलब 5% से कम है, देन यू आर सेटिस्फाइंग कंडीशन ए. सिमिलरली कंडीशन बी इज टोटल पेमेंट्स का 5% से कम आपका कैश में है. तो इफ यू आर हैविंग लेट्स से एक्सपेंसेस ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज, इफ यू आर हैविंग अदर एक्सपेंसेस, परचेज ऑफ मशीनरी, all combined, if you are having less than 5% in cash, so condition B also fulfilled, then your limit is not 1 crore, it is getting substituted to 10 crores. तो 10 करोड़ का अगर टर्नओवर नहीं है तो ऑडिट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, अदरवाइज यस ऑडिट आएगा. तो दैट वाज अबाउट 5%. 8% वाला जो है वो 44AD सेक्शन जो मैंने बताया, इट इज एन ऑप्शनल सेक्शन. उसमें अगर आपका 2 करोड़ से कम टर्नओवर है, लेट्स से आपका टर्नओवर इज 1.5 करोड़, देन यू हैव एन ऑप्शन ऑफ शोइंग 8% और हायर प्रॉफिट, and in that case no audit, no books of accounts are required to be maintained. That is also that is so 5 and 8 का ये differences हैं. F&O turnover is not a speculation. So again, what is the, as I told you, F&O turnover में आपको प्रॉफिट देखना है, लॉस देखना है. लॉस में इग्नोर द साइन, एड प्रॉफिट लॉस दोनों का टोटल करो, अगर वो 1 करोड़ 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो आपको ऑडिट होगा. So Isha is mentioning if sir is turnover is less than 1 crore but profit is less than 8%, audit is not mandatory. No. So again I'm telling you, okay, now we're going one step further, as I'm telling you that why you have to read a section. For all those who are listening to me right now, please please read the Finance Act 2015. उसका section 44AB पढ़ो, और 44 AD पढ़ो, और फाइनेंस एक्ट 16 का नेक्स्ट ईयर का फाइनेंस एक्ट 16 का 44 AB और 44 AD पढ़ो, you will get the reply to lot of your answers. ये 2016 में एक अमेंडमेंट आया था जहां पे बहुत सारी चीजें चेंज हो गई थी. अर्लियर क्या था कि अगर आपने 2 करोड़ से कम आपकी इनकम है, 2 करोड़ से कम टर्नओवर है और आपने 6% से कम दिखाया, there was a compulsory audit. Now that got removed in 2016. So my humble request is you read section 44AB and AD of Finance Act 2015 और 2016 का पढ़ो, दोनों कंपेयर करो, और फिर आपको कुछ भी डाउट हो तो मेरे को पूछो, we will discuss that because I have an entire presentation on only those 2 sections for that interplay. I can share it with you when you after you read that. I'll do that. So whether to check 44AB clause first or 44ADA first? No. So first you have to see whether 44AB के अंदर मेरा कंपल्सरी ऑडिट तो नहीं है. अगर कंपल्सरी ऑडिट नहीं हो रहा है तो मुझे देखना है कि मुझे ऑप्शन चूज करना है 44ADA ADA में जाना है कि नहीं. पहले तो कंपल्सरी ऑडिट है कि नहीं वो देखना. अगर आपका सपोज बिजनेस में टर्नओवर 11 करोड़ का है तो हमको आगे सोचना ही नहीं है, ऑडिट ही करना है. मेरा प्रोफेशन 65 लाख है तो मुझे ऑडिट करना ही है. सो दीज हैव टू बी डन वेरी इजीली. So Mukul is mentioning about confirming with 44ABD. Okay, so Mukul 44ABD, it talks about your this 44ADA. अगर आपका ADA जो है, आपने बात किया कि ADA मतलब जो प्रोफेशनल है उसको 50 लाख से कम की अगर उसकी रिसीट्स है, then he has to show 50% of his income. So let's say assuming 45 lakhs उसका प्रोफेशनल रिसीट्स है, he has to show minimum 22.5 lakhs as his income. If he shows let's say 20 lakhs, then he'll have to compulsorily get his accounts audited under 44AD4 D subclause D. तो अगर वो 50% से कम दिखाता है तो उसका चार्जिंग सेक्शन जो पावर है ऑडिट का वो 44AB सबक्लॉज D के अंदर है. Any loss to be carried forward, we have to maintain the 5-year condition. I'm not able to clear. Sagar, now clear? Okay, thanks. Any other question that we have?
Hello,
I think
sir.
you can note down my you have my email ID. You can note my mobile number. You can WhatsApp me. You can email me. Yes.
Sir, I am Shahrukh from Rajkot Vikasa.
Okay.
I have a question that in the case of firm, while I am uploading the audit, they ask me for giving me the yes in 44AB, maintaining the books of account. Is it mandatory to do so?
In firm?
Yeah.
No. If you're a CA firm, you're talking about a CA firm?
Simple trading business firm.
No. So you have to understand that. So if you are a specified profession, only then you are required to maintain books of accounts which have been prescribed for you. Otherwise, you are maintaining books of accounts, but you are not a specified profession.
Okay, so general in trading.
हाँ, उनके लिए कोई प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं किया है. तो ट्रेडिंग आप जो एग्जांपल दे रहे हो ना, उनके लिए कोई बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट प्रिस्क्राइब नहीं किया है. They are free to maintain certain books of accounts which they can produce when they are required. But वैसे प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए तो सर्टिफाई किया हुआ है कि भी कैश बुक, बैंक बुक, रिसीट्स, they are only for specified professionals only.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि मेरे एक क्लाइंट थे, समझो लास्ट ईयर, कि उनका क्या था कि 1 करोड़ 15 लाख का टर्नओवर था और कैश का टर्नओवर था. तो भी उनको ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल था बिफोर दैट, ठीक है. लेकिन उन्होंने लास्ट ईयर फाइल ही नहीं किया रिटर्न. तो लास्ट ईयर मेरे पास आए तो बोले मेरा लास्ट ईयर का फाइल नहीं है, तो अभी मुझे को ऑडिट करना है या नहीं करना है. तो मैंने उनको ऑडिट का सजेशन किया. बट मेरे को सर ऐसा लगता है कि मैं उनको है ना, कि आपने बताया बिकॉज है ना, उनके नेचर ऑफ बिजनेस में प्रॉफिट मार्जिन बहुत कम था, तो मुझे 5% प्रॉफिट बताना था. तो मेरा ये मानना था कि मैं उनका सिंपल रिटर्न भर सकता था, बट मैंने उनको ऑडिट का ही सजेस्ट किया. तो मैं सही था या सर थोड़ा मेरे को
नहीं, ठीक है. देखो अभी क्या है, अभी आपने कर दिया तो सही है. You should always whatever you have done is right. You should never go back. You have done it, it is right. But the only thing is, फिर आपने ऑडिट कर दिया ना, अभी इस साल आप वापस देखो, अभी उनका टर्नओवर है, आपको ऑडिट की देखो. आपको इसलिए मैंने बताया कि आप लोग सेक्शन 44AB के 5 क्लॉज पढ़ो. अगर आपका कहीं वो फॉल होता है तो ही ऑडिट होगा. अभी अगर ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल नहीं है और मैंने ऑडिट कर दिया, उसके रिपरकशंस क्या है? नंबर 1, अगर डिपार्टमेंट को पता चलता है तो वो बोलेगा भाई आपका ड्यू डेट तो जुलाई था, आप तो सितंबर लेके चले गए, जो अक्टूबर लेके चले गए. सेकंड, अगर आपको कोई लॉस होगा उस साल में, तो वो आपका 31 जुलाई को ही भरना था, आपने अगर लेट भरा तो लॉस नहीं मिलेगा। ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजें हैं, तो ये वी हैव टू बी वेरी श्योर। इसलिए मैंने बोला कि आप कोई भी केस आता है पहले 44AB के 5 क्लॉज देख लो, ये ऑडिट में कहाँ फॉल होता है, ओनली देन यू डू ऑडिट।
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Guys, do you have any more queries?
And if you have my email ID and mobile number here, you can send me a WhatsApp. I'm also there on other social media. You can connect me there, not a problem. We can discuss that.
Yeah. Deepak Kumar, you can unmute yourself and ask. Or repeat question.
Thank you, Mukul and Mukesh. Yes, you can tell the question, please.
And if anybody wants to share feedback by unmuting yourself, you are please welcome. आपको कैसा लगा सेशन, ये हमें जानने के लिए बहुत हम उत्सुक है.
I think I'll be
Please
very
let us
happy if
know.
you can share your very genuine feedback. I really want to know that. You can just unmute and you can tell me.
Yeah. Even we have got feedback through poll, but
So
we would like to know it from, yeah.
Very nice, sir. अच्छा था, बहुत अच्छा था, sir, session.
Yes. Thank you, Mukesh ji. Yes, all people are putting in the chat box. Thank you very much. And you will also have to increase your stage daring. थोड़ा बहुत आप unmute करके भी बोलेंगे तो then we will be more happier.
सर बहुत अच्छा सेशन था.
So it was
Yes,
great
Swati ji.
session.
सर
I think आप लोग unmute भी करते हो, switch on your camera. I think we can have
हमें
interaction live. हाँ, sorry Swati.
सर बहुत अच्छा सेशन था. सारे क्वेश्चंस भी जो क्वेरीज थे हमारे वो भी सॉल्व हुए. सो आई लाइक इट.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful session. I am in my office right now and attending from office only because this is so knowledgeable. We cannot afford to miss it. And please keep on conducting these sessions in virtual format so that students from everywhere can attend it.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. It is very helpful for us.
And it's really knowledgeable, sir. A lot of things that even our principal and our seniors are confused about, and now we can go and discuss with them that this is how it should be done.
No. Thank you so much. Very well appreciated. I think आप लोग see again one suggestion to all of you. I think as ऋषिकेश जी mentioned, I think you have got a wonderful mentor. ऋषिकेश जी is a very dynamic person, I must say. जिस हिसाब से वो काम कर रहे हैं विकासा के लिए, अभी नहीं मतलब लास्ट ईयर भी देखा था. He has been phenomenal in his work. So I think big round of applause to him. I think जितने भी लोग भी हैं, I think we should all clap hands for his efforts that he is doing it. But yes, make sure that as a student, as a professional, we should all, मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ कि आप स्क्रीन ऑन करो, क्यों बोलो, because that is very important. You should, if like not about the faculty, but if you have anything to express, you can unmute yourself and you can share these thoughts. So yes, I can see a few cameras on. I think let it be there that faculty should know that yes, you are listening to them. Otherwise क्या होता है, बहुत बार हमको blank screen दिखती है, तो we understand हम अपने आप से ही बातें कर रहे हैं. That is the point in virtual. Yes, anybody has anything that to be shared, or then we can close.
हेमंत लोहिया सर, कैसा लगा सेशन आपको?
सर काफी इंटरेस्टिंग था, काफी नॉलेजेबल सेशन था ये. सर का हमारा जोधपुर में लेंगे फिजिकल सेशन.
हेमंत जी, आपको बता दूं मैं जोधपुर से ही हूँ. I was so happy to see that Jodhpur. I am basically from Jodhpur. We have been living in Ahmedabad. My father is also CA, but we are originally from Jodhpur only.
Okay,
so
sir.
when Rishikesh ji mentioned that Jodhpur branch is joined, I was very happy.
So you are welcome in Jodhpur.
Yes. I do keep on coming to Jodhpur often. We will definitely meet.
Yes, sir. I will wait for you.
Yes.
Yes. Any other?
And we are really missing Dhaval sir, Dhaval Kotari sir. Do you want to speak anything?
I think Rushali ma'am is, I think I will see a senior CEO also. Ma'am, if you want to share something from your experience, you obviously have more experience than what we have.
No, sir, you have explained so beautifully. Like I was quite attentive throughout the session. Only for first 4-5 minutes I couldn't join, but otherwise I was there throughout the session, and you had covered the things nicely. And what I liked was the problem solving and the poses that you had put. No, they kept everyone ticking. Like gray cells were ticking. There was no point in like missing anything out of the session. So
Thank
that
you,
was
ma'am.
this is the first session I attended of yours, but I would recommend that you keep posers like that in all of your sessions next
Thank
time.
you, ma'am. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you.
I guess there is one more senior CA, Sanjay Mehta sir is there, I think. If you are still there in the session, sir, we would like to hear from you also. Sanjay Mehta sir, are you there? Okay. Until then, I would request once again CA Vrushali ma'am. She is the Vice Chairperson of Satara branch of WIRC, to kindly please deliver formal vote of thanks.
A heartfelt thanks to the faculty for the session, CA 𝐻𝐻𝐻 𝐷ariwal sir, for sharing his knowledge, experience, and lot of hard work through that PPT for lucidly making all of us understand whatever the overview of tax audit is, the interplay between various relevant sections, and what the practical issues in the tax audit, and also lucidly answering all the queries. Maybe like you didn't say that it was a small thing you could go through and answer yourself, but he has addressed those queries very nicely, gracefully, and in a language that we could follow, right from a CA foundation student to the practicing CAs who are there in the session. So we are very much thankful for you, and we really look forward for some physical session also where you would be there with us. And I'm also thankful to CA 𝐾𝐻𝐿 𝐸𝐴, CA Maushmi Shah, and of course our very own CA 𝐻𝐚𝐻𝐿 𝐀𝐻𝐿 for being instrumental in having such a wonderful session for students as well as members. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending this session and making it a success. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now Ketan sir is also there. So would like to know from something from Ketan sir also.
In fact, to be very honest with you, in between part I had missed, but I'm sure, the feedback which Hardik gave me, my son, he was throughout there. He told me that it was a wonderful session all in all. And yes, unfortunately, some client meeting came up and I couldn't attend fully, but I'll try attending tomorrow also. So, it's a season of tax audit, and it's going to be a refreshing the entire tax audit for all of us. So once again, thanks to the Harit for a wonderful talk, and the entire team of WICASA of Satara. Also thanks to Mosmi and all of you for doing a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Ketan sir,
Thank
to be very honest, it was a knowledge-packed session. After a long time, actually, I could have that patience of listening for 120 minutes, and I could not move actually, because it was really, really a lot of value addition, not only for the student, but also definitely for the CS.
No, Harit, I have heard, to be very frank, I have not heard him live, but I have heard about Harit a lot. That
Sir.
is a very good speaker.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Heartiest congratulations to 𝐻𝐻𝐿 sir also for getting such a wonderful faculty for us. When I was reading your profile, I was really impressed before I could read hear to you. So profile
Thank you,
itself was
ma'am.
very impressive, and after listening to you, it was like we are really fortunate to listen to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
To add more to this, Mosmi ma'am, I would request you to एक बार last year का activity report देख लो, then आपको पता चलेगा कि what really Harit sir is made up of.
Yes,
It's
sir,
really
sir.
hats off to him, the
Thank you,
way
thank you
he
so
had
much.
handled the entire Ahmedabad branch, and it was हर दिन कुछ ना कुछ तो चलता ही रहता था. So
Wow.
it's really a great pleasure to have him with Satara WICASA and knowledge sharing to all the students in a simple language and in comprehensive way.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks
Sir,
all.
Harit ji,
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
एक मिनट एक क्वेरी ले सकते हैं क्या? I
हाँ,
guess I
बोलिए ना,
missed
sir.
it out.
Yeah.
It's Payal Chawda from due date क्या है for submitting tax audit report? 30th September or 31st October? It's general
नहीं,
query.
टैक्स ऑडिट रिपोर्ट की 30 सितंबर है एंड आईटीआर की 31 अक्टूबर है.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, 𝐾𝐻𝐻 sir. Thank you, 𝐬𝐚 ji. Thank you, ऋषिकेश ji. Thank you, Vrushali ji. We'll really hope to meet you all soon in person also. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And reminder to all these PPTs will be available made in the Telegram channel, and the recordings is available on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Sir, link,
and once again,
link,
great
sir.
pleasure to have 𝐾𝐻𝐻 sir with us. Thank you very much. Tomorrow session will start at 5 p.m., not at 6 p.m. Tomorrow we are going to cover clause by clause analysis, so it will require some more time. So tomorrow session will be of 3 hours, and Sunday it will be again of 2 hours, starting from 5 p.m. Thank you very much. We will leave now.